go. Yo, I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and yeah, I'm here rolling up a joint. I was trying to get this joint rolled up while this music was playing, but seems like my timing was a little off. But I did get the joint ready. I have one already ready, but for some reason I feel like two might be what I need for tonight. I feel like it's gonna be a double header, literally. Um, I don't know. I just today feels like I need too much because I already had one this morning, but I feel like I need two for this evening because my neck, my back, everything's been achy today. We just had like a little unstable weather, and this I don't understand the Northeast. It's been very awkward with the temperatures. Like the past 4 days, it was above 95 degrees for 4 days straight. And actually, Tuesday, we reached over 100. And today, you want to know what was the high today? The high today was 69. Oh, man, it was 69. And I was running around getting some errands done and getting stuff accomplished. And I did get everything I needed to do done. And I said I was going to come on at 7 p.m. and I fulfilled that. So I feel like Trump, promise made, promise kept. And we're going to review some news of what happened today. I haven't seen this news yet, so we're going to watch it together for the first. And let's get it set up here. So in no particular order, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually 5 stories to look at, and possibly going to be adding towards the end of it. So let's just get started. Actually, first off, let me light up because I want to smoke. I need a smoke. I really do. And tonight, I think I'm going to smoke 1 gram instead of 0.5 gram. I'm going to do 1 gram. So I got 0.5 and a 0.5 right here. 2 0.5s. So we're going to light this one up right here. And the reason why I put it at my head is because I'm wearing a hat. Okay. And it's black. And you can see it better when I put it right here. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to start making some hats with the joint right on top. I'm going to put like a joint like this way and maybe a joint maybe like this. Maybe it'll be in an angle, but I'll put the joint like this, and then you got to smell it. Delicious. It's ready. It's ready for tonight. So let's go ahead and get to the news because I really want to see what was up today. So let's set this up. I got it set up. Actually, this is not where I wanted to go. So let's go ahead and change that angle back. I got another angle here. Here we go. Let's go ahead and add this and let's get it started.
Won't stop covering for the dangerous migrant criminals that President Trump is deporting. Let's start with their rising star, Jasmine Crockett. She thinks it's xenophobic to call criminals criminals.
She's a fucking idiot.
You start to decide that just because somebody came from another country, they are automatically some kind of criminal. That does sound kind of xenophobic to me.
This lady is
Another
a criminal.
Democratic congresswoman thinks it's a dog
xenophobic. What the fuck is a xenophobic?
By their gang name.
You're like, are you colorblind? Did you not look at yourself in the mirror before you dressed today?
Xenophobic action this administration wants to take,
and this one too,
particularly against Latino men.
Oh.
Jesse, we need to stop saying Tren de Aragua now. We might offend the libs.
I like saying it. Tren de Aragua. It's the only Spanish name I can say.
It's a dog whistle now for racism.
I believe
it's crazy, man.
Tren de Aragua. Is that better, Charlie?
No.
Tren de Aragua?
No.
Aragua. Was that better?
That's a little better.
All right. Spanglish with Waters.
What's going on?
The woman who we just saw, I think, because I'm a mind reader, she wants there to be white migrant gangs. I believe that she is upset, maybe ashamed, embarrassed that most of the criminal gangs are Latin. And she wished they were like English nationals who were committing crimes that need to be deported, like the Cornwallis crew or something like that. I'm sorry, there's not a lot of those people in this country anymore. But white violence in terms of the migrant factor, not a problem. Charlie and I have our own oyster shucker crew, but we're citizens. As far as Jasmine goes, I researched her, and it's never good when I do that. I found out she's single. She's 43. She's never been married. And I'm trying to figure out what makes her tick. I think I can set her up with someone.
Oh, my God.
I know a guy in D.C., Emily. He's white. Hopefully that's not a problem, but he will make her happy. And maybe then she will not hate everybody else besides herself so much. So if you're interested, I will set it up. And it would be my pleasure to do it.
Okay. Yes to that. We'll circle back on that. All right. So Jessica, Nicole
That felt
Wallace.
sarcastic.
I was sort of.
She's trying to be
I don't know how to.
polite.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
It was so good.
Said,
it was the best thing I
want
said
to know
all
who this
week.
guy is.
Stop it.
I don't think he's real. Tell me later.
I'll tell you
Oh
later.
my God. Jessica, so Nicole Wallace, I wish I didn't feel so gutted. I wish I could stop thinking about those guys being scared in El Salvador. This is the bleeding heart lib. These guys are driving the media narrative. What about the worry and the fear for Americans who were scared here? Like scared for their lives, like Lake and Wright. Like there's so many people who are in this position. Why do they always prioritize the illegal criminals first?
Because the people that she's talking about are not criminals. 75% of the 238 men that were sent to CCOT have no criminal conviction. New data is out on who's been arrested in Los Angeles. 70% of the people who've been taken in, no criminal conviction. Right now, ICE has, according to their own numbers, they've detained 59,000, 47% of them, no criminal convictions. That's what people wanted. Worst first. That's not what they're getting, which is why Donald Trump's approval on immigration has plummeted. That's what Nicole Wallace is talking about. That's what Jasmine Crockett is talking about. And I think if you talk to the average person on the street, especially in one of these cities, but if you say, do you consider someone who's here illegally, who has committed no crime on US soil to be a criminal? They would say no. Because the majority of Americans think that if you've been here and you haven't committed a crime, go about your business. We make $25 billion. Yeah, $25 billion in Social Security taxes that they're paying in. These are people being picked up at the job sites out of immigration court. Americans don't like that.
But the majority of Americans do support the president's immigration policies, Dana. And at the end of the day, these are elected officials saying this. Well, Tom Homan can't even live with his family because of death threats.
So crossing the border illegally or overstaying your visa illegally is illegal. And if they want to change that, they're in the perfect position to do that. They are in Congress. In addition, I think Jazzy, which I learned that's who they call her on the Gutfeld show when I was on last night, they call it, that's our Jazzy. What a perfect person to say, Mr. President, can I come see you? I'd like a word. I'd like to bring a couple of people. We have an idea. Donald Trump would say, yeah, sure. Come on, let's have a conversation. And if they went and said, we're concerned about these guys. We know they crossed illegally. Okay, they should have to pay a price for that. But they've been lawful ever since. They have kids here. Is there something we could do? Is there something we could put into this big, beautiful bill that might like pass your muster with, that you'd be okay with? Could I work with you? Could I try to bring enough Democrats to vote with on something like this? Like if they wanted to come to a solution, they have the perfect person in the Oval Office in order to do that.
But logic
Precisely.
continues.
Oh, precisely.
I love it.
Yeah, because I mean, and of course, we saw it in the first term where President Trump tried to make a deal with the Dreamers. Of course, Democrats didn't want to do that because they want the issue and not the solution. Look, if you want to know when people have absolutely nothing constructive to do, they start playing word games. And when you start playing word games with illegal alien, by the way, illegal alien is the actual term that's in federal code.
Right.
So they could change that when they're changing the rules.
Exactly.
When you're playing word games, you don't actually have a solution. And this is why voters have thrown them out of power from the Senate and the White House. I think, look at them as being fundamentally unserious on important issues that matter to them.
Click here to subscribe to the
That's
Fox
wild.
News YouTube page to catch
I mean,
our hottest
Jasmine
interviews
Crockett
and
is full of shit. Look at this one. This is another one.
Well, the vice mayor of one Los Angeles County town is under federal investigation after she called on two of LA's largest gangs to take on federal immigration agents. Watch.
I want to know where all the cholos are at in Los Angeles. 18th Street, Florencia. Where's the leadership at? Because you guys are all about territory, and this is 18th Street, and this is Florencia. You guys tag everything up, claiming hood. And now that your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there is, there ain't a peep out of you. So whoever's the leadership over there, just get your members in order.
She sounds very Mexican.
Cudahy, California Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez mentions the infamous 18th Street gang and Florencia. These gangs have a reputation for extreme violence, targeted killings of rival gangs and innocent civilians, drug trafficking and extortion, sexual violence and exploitation, and that's just the first drop in the bucket. One LA police union chief wants Gonzalez held to the highest account, telling Fox News Digital, quote, she should definitely resign from her position, and the district attorney or U.S. attorney should bring charges against her if she crossed any legal lines. These gang members are known to be violent. They have killed law enforcement officers in the past, and it is completely irresponsible and reprehensible for Gonzalez to even engage in that kind of talk or behavior. Leslie, that's near your hood.
Yep.
Talk to me about how the community feels about her call to action here. And I'm really hoping that they stand with law enforcement in there and see that this is reprehensible too.
Oh, I'll tell you what they think, because I live in Los Angeles, and thank you so much, because I'm so tired of watching people on TV across the board who've never been to LA telling me what they think. What she said it was disgusting. I would agree there. Overwhelming majority of people, even in that community, think that that's disgusting, that she should resign or she should be terminated. But what we further find disgusting, yesterday at my post office, we had ICE in the parking lot. My post office is ground central for everyone who lost their home or their home was damaged like mine in the Eaton Canyon fire. These people are traumatized, and you got these guys, and we don't even know if they're really ICE. They're refusing to give their names, their badge numbers, show their faces. What we are upset about in California is that we don't have ICE going after these gangs. They know where they are. And believe me, these gangs and these gang members, they're not washing dishes. They're not at Home Depot. They're certainly not the mother breastfeeding the baby. They're certainly not the cancer victim. They're certainly not in the elementary schools or at the graduations. And those are the people that
you
we
live
want
in a
to support.
sanctuary state.
Mhm.
Okay. So if ICE goes after the gangs, the LAPD have been told, back off, don't help ICE find people. No, come on, Leslie.
Aaron, I'm
you
sorry.
live in a
There's
sanctuary
video
state.
everywhere with LAPD assisting ICE in Los Angeles. There's video yesterday morning of that. And there's real-time live stream. There's tape. It's all over. You can Google it. I'm sorry. What we want is the worst of the worst. And those gang members,
So you better get rid of
we
that
want the
sanctuary
drug
state
traffickers,
governor
the
you have
sex
going on.
traffickers, the gang members. We want them deported, not the children, the cancer victims, the women breastfeeding their
So
babies.
where's the protesting to support the LAPD? Where's the protesting to call and thank you publicly to the ICE agents to go out and get the bad guys, the worst of the worst?
Because
Where is
they're
all of
not
that?
out getting the worst of the
Yes,
worst. Where I live, no, they're not. They're not. They're going into churches, elementary schools, graduations.
They need to go to
that's
churches and
another thing.
elementary
It's
school
not
to
what
get
they're
them.
doing. It's the way they're doing it. Example.
It doesn't
you're at
matter
your
where
kid's
they're
high school
doing it. I don't
graduation,
even
right?
care
There's
if they
one
do it in
person
a
there, let's
hospital
say,
while
that
their
they're
wife is
after.
getting
They can get
giving
that person
birth.
outside their home,
I
outside
don't
of their work.
care.
They don't need to ruin
If
the
they're
graduation.
illegal,
for
know
those
they
kids
bye
and all
use
bye.
those
people
You
as
gotta
parents.
go.
fields. We saw that in Colorado
I know
in
so
Aurora
many
at that
legal
apartment
people.
Laura, I want to get you in here.
Hold on.
You have
Let me
interviewed
pause
so
this
many
first.
of the.
I need to jump in this conversation. I know a lot of illegals. I know a lot of immigrants here in Connecticut, and they're so cool people. They're very cool. I mean, I know Muslims, like a lot of Muslims here. And do I feel safe around them? Hell yeah. Would I eat food from them? Hell yeah. Like I've had their food before. Like I like where I live, there's like a bunch of Muslims here, and the building I live in is owned by Jewish people. So it's like here it's not like a battle between like Jewish and Muslims. No, like we're at peace here. Like the media is just blowing this out of proportion. I believe what's going on in Iran is just, it feels like a psyop type of shit. It feels like, yes, we got what we needed to get done, we did it, and we got out, and now let's restore the order, and then Iran has to start from scratch. And there might be another attack in the future because of the redevelopment of enriching uranium. They could have other places. Like the U.S. and the Intel community needs to like stay focused on Iran, monitor them 24/7 with satellite images and video images coming from there, and they cannot be trusted. We know that because, listen, they enrich uranium. They had underground facilities that was enriching. Hello, like, they're not supposed to be doing that. Period. all this extra is extra. If they were innocent, they can prove that they weren't enriching uranium, then none of this would have happened. But since they denied inspections, they denied talking to anybody, they told everybody go sit on and enjoy your day. Kind of like threw Israel off, threw the whole world off, and Trump gave him 60 days, and 60 days came and went, and the 61st day, Israel said, "Fuck it, we're gonna take out as much as we can," and that preemptive attack really softened Iran, because you got to remember the military wasn't ready. No, they didn't have anybody at the missiles, at the anti-aircraft weaponry or anything. They were just treating it like a regular day, and they got the biggest element of surprise. And and what happened. A lot of people died on both sides, and a lot of people got injured, and a lot of people are displaced. It's just wild. But they did arrest. The numbers were at 130 Iranian nationals here in the United States. Just think about that. 130. They arrested in 2 days. In 2 days, they arrested 130. Okay? And you could just imagine the amount of Iranian nationals that are here, and not only Iranian, but people from all around the world that snuck in through our borders and are making themselves comfortable here. That's not good. That's just not good. And safety wise is really not good. But let me see here. Let's continue that story, and then I'll talk a little bit more after. I just had to butt in because sometimes they get me so mad. I get mad because the Democrats, all they know how to do is gaslight people and get you mad. They want you to be at their level, ignorant, stupid, and mad. And I don't settle for that, because that's so beneath me. It's come up to the same playing field and respect humanity and stop pandering and catering to easy targets like the LGBTQ, elemental PQRXYZ plus negative, multiply, divide, and round it off to I think it's the 200th power. Listen, I don't give a fuck. It's June. Pride Month is almost over. Thank God. We can move on. It's just a weird. Everything's just so weird. The world is just weird. But let's go ahead and then finish this story, and then I'll butt in at the end.
Heads of law enforcement agencies now in this country. And the reality is that ICE is trying to do their job. And at every level, they are being thwarted and prevented by the California state leadership, local leadership, in addition to the community that wants to dox them. And that's just the tip of that iceberg. We know as well that assaults on ICE agents have increased 500%. So the reality is that they are trying to protect American interests. They are being thwarted every second. And for an elected official to call on violent law enforcement murderous gangs to help defend the territory against a federal agency, that is unethical at a minimum, illegal at most.
Yeah, and I don't want to assume anything that went on during the filming of this post that she put up there, but it does seem like she maybe was enjoying herself and imbibing in some way, potentially on the front end. It just kind of felt like that. I would also warn, if you are an elected official,
she might be drinking
before you post the video. She deleted that video because she knew full well it was
she
a mistake.
Deleted the video, but it's on
You're
forever.
Right,
she's stupid.
We want our law enforcement officers, whoever they are, federal, local, state, They ought to be able to go out and do their jobs.
Wow,
That
look at
is
this
what
guy's
the
tattoos.
American people have
666.
said time and time again they want to see happen. And Leslie, by the way, they absolutely are going after gang members.
Yes.
Donald Trump, during his first term in office, was dead set on getting rid of MS-13 gang members. He went all across the country seeking them out. You don't hear a lot about MS-13 as much anymore. Thanks to President
But it's
Trump.
still
He's
here,
going after
though.
the gangs. Believe
And
me,
there are a
that
lot
is
of them
top
in
priority.
Colorado.
Now, Guy, the local other
They're all over
officials
the
there have
place.
said that was her personal opinion. They distanced themselves, said it wasn't her official capacity. But when you represent an elected office, that's a 24-hour-a-day job. There's been plenty of calls for her resignation and more, including an investigation by the FBI.
Yeah, there'd be
She needs to
consequences.
resign
If
and
that's
get in
just
trouble
her
for it.
personal opinion, it's a terrible one, first of all. And also, she
Yeah.
has this job that she needs to understand there are responsibilities that come with that job. When I was doing some research for this segment on this story, because we've been talking about it for several days, I noticed there were a few articles in the Los Angeles Times sort of running interference for her. What she really meant by this, what her lawyer is saying. I then did some more digging. The Los Angeles Times endorsed her for school board in 2019 when she was running for school board. She's an educator. So I looked at her official biography. I just want to read one quick quote from her official bio. Dr. Gonzalez is passionate about creating healthy and safe communities. Well then, I'm not sure how safe it is to sick gang members on federal agents, as she did in that video.
I look forward to that resignation. I'm sure it'll
That's
be coming
wild.
shortly. Hey, everyone.
That's
I'm
so
Emily
wild.
Campagno.
That's so wild. Like she's not even the mayor. She's like the she's like the I guess like vice mayor. Like in case something happens to the mayor, she takes over. Like, where's the vatos? Where's the vatos at? Where's the vatos? Where my homes at? Where my homes? Yo, my dude, you not taking care of the blacks. You got the federal gang here. You're not doing your drive. You're not fighting. Like what? She's crazy as fuck. Like, are you kidding me? She's the dog whistle. She's like, that's what I heard from her. Oye, le vato. I was like, excuse me, you're vice mayor. Were you born in America? I'm just questioning because you have a really strong accent, and yeah, if you were born here, you really got to show you documents. I want to see some documents on that lady. I just want to know if she was born in America. If she was, man, that's one strong Mexican accent that she has. Holy shit. That was really strong. Oye, le vatos, and all this like gang talk and trying to get the gang to get involved and like crazy, man. It's crazy times. You want to see how crazy this shit gets? It gets even crazier. It gets crazier. The world is it's like the third eye mask that I have. It's like it's opening up all for me to see, and you guys are seeing, and everybody's seeing all together. Like everyone's just unfolding and just acting so weird, very weird. Oh no! Here we go. Let's come over here and let's get the story up.
Chaos at Miami-Dade County Hall. Tensions boiling over during a commission meeting there. The discussion getting so heated, a woman was dragged out and arrested.
Let go of me! Let go of me! No! No! Let me go!
That woman and one other person now in jail and facing charges, part of the chaos that broke out at today's meeting.
And it's all over the hot button issue of immigration and Howe County cooperation with ICE. Local 10's Glenna Milberg was at the meeting and is live now with a high emotion at County Hall. Glenna.
You're right. The tensions just boiled right over. You know, immigration is an emotional issue to begin with. The actual item was about to be deferred at the commission, but the drama surrounding it played right out.
Let go of me! Let go of me! No!
That's crazy. Look at this. This is Miami. This is where I was born.
Camila Ramos had been confused. Stop it!
She kept asking and ignoring orders to sit down. Then forcibly removed from the commission chambers. And at the same
All those
time,
people should
in
be
the
removed.
hallway,
Let them speak. Let her speak. Yeah, push the cop.
more
Push.
confrontations with sheriffs, a crowd who'd come to unload about immigration
You
enforcement.
saw that person?
I am about to help you.
You know I'm
But
gonna
you need to
rewind
let
that,
yourself
right?
Be helped.
The question
We gotta
on the
watch this
agenda
2 times.
was one part of those 287G
This happened
agreements
today.
that require jails to detain inmates for ICE if asked. That was
Oh,
deferred,
they're gonna have a
not heard.
lot
you need to
to
answer
do in
is that,
Miami.
do I want to speak today, or do I want to reserve my rights in the future?
Those who came to speak on it told they could still, though if the public hearing were held today, that would be it, and no more opportunity if and when they do take it up in the future. They chose to speak.
We can't go down this road.
To what degree are you all going to take these attacks on our people?
Basically, you guys are ratifying this.
No, we're not.
The item was to be about the costs for those jail detainers the county has been doing for immigration agents since 2017 and are now state law.
An agreement that has already been executed.
Please, this is
Enough to drag you out?
Camila Ramos. She is now arrested for battery on an officer, and so is Zachary Spicer for resisting arrest.
The hell happened to
So
her?
those two who came to speak today, they are right now in jail for the night, and the
Oh, we gotta
item
see
about
this
the jail
again.
detainer cost, that is officially deferred. If and when it ever does come back, there will be, by the rules, no more public hearing unless the commission decides to waive that as an exception. I'm Glenna Milberg, live at
All
County.
right, Glenna. Let me go back to those pictures of those individuals. Is that a girl or a guy? It has a guy's face. Is that a guy or a girl? Oh no. Oh no. Rick's just started some fucking conversation. Like this is a conversation that we had right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the two that are watching, hello. What do you think about this picture? Dude looks like a lady. I mean, that hair. Did they really check that hair really good to make sure there wasn't anything hiding in that hair? Because contraband is very illegal, and if you're bringing anything in possession into a jail system, you can be charged very heavily for bringing contraband into the jail system. So I hope they really check that hair. Damn, she must, man. I'm just saying that's a lot of fucking hair. And does that even look like a chick? That looks like more like a dude to me. If I'm looking at him, like if that's a chick, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a dude, right? It's a dude or a girl. What's going on? Like, it's missing an earring. You know, because you see the one side has like the right side has the earring, and it's missing the left side, and it looks like a fucking dude, man. Just look at the eyes and the nose, and like the lips, the cheekbones. I was trying to see if there's an Adam's apple, and I believe I may see something there, but the shading of the shadow of the jaw and the neck, it kind of hides it a bit. But is this a dude? It has to be a dude. That has to be a dude. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm looking at this here, the eyes. If you was to like cut this off here, this is a dude, right? I mean, because it's not wearing a shirt, because you can tell it's not wearing a shirt, and it has this green thing around its neck. Could this be like a blouse or like a little like a top or something? And it's missing, like I said, it has the earring over here, but it's missing over here. It has a nose piercing, so you already know where they stand. Every time you see this nose piercing and crazy shit, like that's a bat signal. That's like the Batman signal saying Democrat. You know, that's just like highlighter. It's like highlighted in the face. But this has got to be a dude. Come on, man. Like seriously, like that's not female. It's cannot be female. Like I want to see the testing and the chromosome testing of this individual because I don't think that's female. Now the crazy bitch, this one here. Hold on. This one right here. Like, look at this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Disturbing. That's a disturbing look right there. That's a look of I'm concerned for her. She's I don't know if she's on medication or what she's on. I see she has a tattoo that looks like crap on her arm. It looks really bad right here. This looks bad. This looks crazy. Look at the jawbone. Look at the mouth. Look at the teeth. Like it's like push downwards, and it's like aggressively. This is aggressive energy right here. Like I like to break things down. You know, I don't just watch stuff and then like just show you. I like to give my 2 cents, and my 2 cents says that this bitch is crazy. Okay. she's a wild one. Yes, she is. But this one over here, okay, this is her. This is her mugshot. They took off her glasses. She has a nick on her chin, so she got roughed up. She got probably pinned to the floor or something, and she got nicked in the face. I mean, she has her eyebrows done, so I gotta give her credit. Her eyebrows are not that bad. I'm trying to pick the good things about her. The rest is all a fucking mess. This is a mess right here. She's a mess. Those eyes, they look like crazy eyes. When you see eyes like this, run. Okay? Anytime you see eyes like this, run. As fast as you can. Run. And then this dude, I don't know. He looked like an actor. Like what was that actor? I forgot his name. It looks just like this person. Man, I'm gonna need some help. Maybe if people that watch in the future, if you could name what actor this person looks like, because he doesn't look like Seal, like the singer. I mean, maybe a young Seal that had hair. That maybe this is Seal, the singer. When he was like much younger with hair, like this was probably like his mug. But now that he's older and he has like all those scars and bald, you know, maybe this one when he grows or I don't know what it is. It's throwing me off. The face, it screams male. The earring is just like super huge hoop earring, and the hair is that hair is just so horribly bad. I don't know. You could have do something else with that hair. Like that hair, like I don't even want to know the stories that hair knows. Like you can imagine this hair had a voice and started talking. He would probably say, "This motherfucker is crazy." Like, look how the way he treats me. Look at my hair. Like, you could tell a lot by a person by their hair. And I tell you right now, this one's telling me that it has stories. It has stories, and it wants to escape that scalp right there. It's like, nah, I want out. I want out. Don't take me to jail with this crazy bitch. Male or female. I don't know what it is. I'm just calling you it. Okay? Because I don't know what you are, but and it's just weird. But I want to rewatch this story again because this happened today in Miami. And like these Democrats are getting crazier and crazier. Like when are we're gonna put them in check? We're gonna have to put them in check, and we're gonna have to like open up the insane asylums again. We're gonna need some like this is the reason why we had insane asylums. and I feel like since they closed them down, all the craziness is out, and they have infiltrated the population, and they're just out there, and they're wild. They're wild, and they need help, and they're not getting help. And but let's rewatch this, and without interruption, and let's listen to the whole story one last time. This is crazy, man. In Miami,
To chaos at Miami-Dade County Hall. Tensions boiling over during a commission meeting there. The discussion getting so heated, a woman was dragged out and arrested.
Let go of me. Let go of me. No. No. Let me go.
That woman and one other person now in jail and facing charges, part of the chaos that broke out at today's meeting.
And it's all over the hot button issue of immigration and how county cooperation with ICE. Local 10's Glenna Milberg was at the meeting and is live now with a high emotion at County Hall. Glenna.
You're right. The tensions just boiled right over. Immigration is an emotional issue to begin with. The actual item was about to be deferred at the commission, but the drama surrounding it played right out.
Let go of me. Let go of me. No. I have a right to understand this process.
Camila Ramos had been confused.
Stop it.
She kept asking and ignoring orders to sit down.
Let her speak. Let her speak.
Then forcibly removed from the commission chambers. And at the same time, in the hallway, more confrontations with sheriffs, a crowd who'd come to unload about immigration enforcement.
I am about to help you, but you need to let yourself be helped.
The question on the agenda was one part of those 287G agreements that require jails to detain inmates for ICE if asked. That was deferred, not heard.
The question you need to answer is that, do I want to speak today, or do I want to reserve my rights in the future?
Those who came to speak on it told they could still, though if the public hearing were held today, that would be it, and no more opportunity if and when they do take it up in the future. They chose to speak.
We can't go down this road.
To what degree are you all going to take these attacks on our people?
Basically, you guys are ratifying this.
No, we're not.
Shame on you, Gonzalez.
The item was to be about the costs for those jail detainers the county has been doing for immigration agents since 2017 and are now state law.
An agreement that has already been executed.
Please, this is.
Camila Ramos, she is now arrested for battery on an officer, and so is Zachary Spicer for resisting arrest.
oh, it is the guy.
So those two who came to speak today, they are right now in
Wait a
jail.
minute. Let's go back to Zachary, because I thought it was female, and the reason why I thought female because it doesn't look like it has a shirt on. All I see is this green thing around the neck and a hoop earring that's pretty big. And is it a transsexual? Because its name was Zachary. help me make it make sense. I don't know, man. Dude looks like doesn't even look like a lady. Like this dude looks like a dude with a huge mop on his head that like my fabuloso is calling like, yo, throw some fabuloso in that shit. Like I could use that to wash the car. Like all I do is shave that head and I have all that hair and I could wash my car. Like that's like you could do so much. Like you can clean your home, you could clean your fans, you could clean your AC, you could clean like a lot of things you could do with this hair. Like you can make it into a purse. Oh man, that hair. Oh boy. Yeah, let's go to another story because that was wild. Let's see, where should we go? Let me see. Okay, let's go with this one, and then we'll jump back and forth. We'll leave the Trump for last. Let's go, Caroline Levitt.
CIA report was low confidence intel. Can you share what other assessments are currently underway to get to the bottom of just how effective these strikes were?
Yes. Well, I can assure you what the CIA director said, that when we look at the entirety of the intelligence that we have to this date, it concludes that these strikes on the Iranian nuclear facilities were absolutely successful. It was a total obliteration, as the president said. And not only does our own intelligence say that, but also the Iranian foreign minister has said that. We saw Israel conclude the same thing based on their own intelligence. We also had the United Nations say that as well. So I think the only other time the United Nations, Israel, Iran, and the United States has agreed on something is that the sky is blue, but they all agree that Iran's nuclear facilities were completely demolished. And I would just like to reemphasize, you mentioned this was a low confidence preliminary intelligence assessment, and the entirety of that assessment was not leaked to the media. Only tidbits of that assessment were leaked to CNN. And we have seen this playbook run before, where you have people in the intelligence community, or perhaps on Capitol Hill, we don't know, but I believe the FBI is investigating to find out who that leaker was, because it's illegal and they should be held accountable for that, leaked bits and pieces of an intel assessment to push a false narrative. And it's to the same reporter, I will add, Natasha Bertrand of CNN, who has done this in the past. In 2020, it was Natasha Bertrand who had 51 intelligence analysts falsely lie to her, but she still put it on paper for some reason, that the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation. We all know that's not true, right? We can all agree on that now. That was a lie from the intelligence community. Also in 2020, this same reporter, Natasha Bertrand, wrote that a top intel agency ruled out the man-made lab leak theory of the coronavirus origins. Again, the president was right about that. This reporter wrote a lie from the intelligence community to seek a narrative she wanted to prove. And guess what? We now know that's the truth. Also, in 2024, Bertrand pushed the suckers and losers hoax. She also pushed the fine people hoax, which was taking the president's words purposely out of context. And then last October, and I believe this is notable, Natasha Bertrand published an article in Politico from the intelligence agency. She said that John Ratcliffe was speaking without any evidence when he said Iran was attempting to undermine President Trump's presidential campaign. And then we, of course, found out that was absolutely true. In fact, the Biden administration declassed an intel report which said they had high confidence that Iran had done exactly what Ratcliffe alleged. They did run an influence campaign to hurt President Trump's candidacy. In fact, we know the Iranians tried to take President Trump's life. And so this is a reporter who has been unfortunately used by people who dislike Donald Trump in this government to push fake and false narratives. She should be ashamed of herself. And that's not what reporting is. Journalism is trying to find the facts and the truth. And this week, we saw this same reporter being used to push a fake narrative to try to undermine the president of the United States. And more importantly, the brave fighter pilots who conducted one of the most successful operations in United States history. And I think the American people fully know that this operation was a complete and total success. Elizabeth.
Thank you, Caroline. The Miami Herald recently published a story saying the Trump administration was targeting migrant foster children. The Trump administration has denounced this as false. Could you clarify the Trump administration's position on protecting migrant children, particularly the 300,000 lost under the Biden administration?
Yes, I saw that Miami Herald article yesterday, and I was aghast at the headline. It's egregious to accuse this administration of trying to target foster children. That is not at all what is happening at the Department of Homeland Security. And I learned that the Department of Homeland Security actually tried to work in good faith with this reporter to get this story right, to explain that this administration is trying to protect foster children. We are trying to keep children out of harm's way, even if that means their parents are not law-abiding citizens. We want to protect children, unlike the previous administration, which allowed children to be trafficked and raped, and in some cases killed because of the open border policies. Unfortunately, the Miami Herald just completely degraded themselves with this report, despite having a full list of facts from the Department of Homeland Security. It's another example of fake news. And the May border numbers speak for themselves. Not a single illegal alien was allowed into this country because of this administration's border policies in the month of May. That means not a single child was allowed into this country, possibly with human smugglers or human traffickers. And we know that was happening at the rate of thousands and thousands of children every single month in the previous administration for 4 years. And you didn't see any reporting of that from the Miami Herald, but now they're trying to accuse this administration, and we tried to give them the facts, and they refused to report them. So thank you for bringing that report to light, Aisha.
Good to see you again.
You too.
I know you're looking for.
You're
this.
usually on the Hill.
I know. I'm here today. I know you're looking for this leaker. Is it your belief? I know you said earlier you're not sure if it's on Capitol Hill or at the Pentagon, but is it your belief that it might be in Capitol Hill? And how confident are you that you'll find this leaker?
Well, I'm not personally looking for the leaker. The FBI is looking for the leaker, so you'll have to ask them in the Department of Justice in terms of this investigation. But leaking top secret classified intelligence is a crime, and people need to be held accountable for that crime.
Yeah, they need to go to jail.
About how you're going to be limiting intel to Congress. What would you say to lawmakers who say they have oversight privileges? They need this information.
This administration wants to ensure that classified intelligence is not ending up in irresponsible hands, and that people who have the privilege of viewing this top secret classified information are being responsible with it. And unfortunately, clearly, someone who had their hands on this, and it was a very few people, few number of people in our government who saw this report.
Wow.
That person was irresponsible with it, and we need to get to the bottom of it, and we need to strengthen that process to protect our national security and protect the American public.
Was it Nancy Pelosi?
Mary Margaret, go ahead.
That would be funny if it was
You
her.
just laid out a lot of different stories about disinformation that Natasha, excuse me, that Natasha Bertrand had pushed during her time at Politico and at CNN. Why would any member of the Trump administration leak anything to her?
Well, again, as I just said, we're investigating who that leaker was. It could have been someone in the intelligence community, or it could have been someone on Capitol Hill who had access to this document. The FBI is searching for that person. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. The president was
And
obviously
clearly it was done to undermine the president, to answer your question.
And I'm sorry, I really wanted to follow up on that really quickly. Before the strikes on Iran, we saw a number of other leaks about Tulsi Gabbard, the vice president Vance. Is there an effort to divide the president's team when it comes to these leaks and which reporters they choose?
I do believe there's an effort on the outside of this building to try to divide the president's team on the inside. And sometimes you have to look at these headlines and laugh, because I've been in meetings where I know these things are absolutely not true. And again, we do our best here, I believe, to try to push back and correct the record with all of you. But there is fake reporting. That's just the reality of this country, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but I can assure you the president's team is strong, especially the national security team. Everyone is very proud of the president, of our commander in chief, and of our military for the successful operation that took place on Saturday night.
Thanks, Caroline. The president was obviously very pleased with getting his NATO allies to increase defense spending. He's made the same demands of Asia-Pacific allies of the United States, including Australia, where I'm from. How does the NATO result impact negotiations with Asia-Pacific allies? Does it, strengthen the president's resolve to say, well, our NATO allies have done it, now you need to do it too?
Yeah, I mean, look, if our allies in Europe and our NATO allies can do it, I think our allies and our friends in the Asia-Pacific region can do it as well. But as for our specific relations in those discussions, I'll let the president speak on those.
Can I just ask as well, when he had to leave the G7 early, he missed out on a number of bilateral meetings that were scheduled with other world leaders, including the Prime Minister of Australia. Obviously, President Zelensky, he's managed to meet since then, but are there plans afoot to make up for those meetings with the world leaders that he missed out on?
Yeah, I think many of those world leaders understood the situation happening in the Middle East and the urgency and the need for the president to get back to Washington to monitor that situation. And obviously that was the right call, considering the success of not only the operation on Saturday night, but also the ceasefire that the president has since brokered on behalf of not just our country, but the entire world, frankly. But he has made up a couple of those meetings, and he has had direct phone calls with some of those leaders he was supposed to meet with as well. Not all. Ed.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Caroline. So to clarify on trade, so what happens to the countries other than China on July 9th?
That's a decision for the president to make, and I will let him make it.
Okay, and secondly, so now that oil is just about upper $60s a barrel, when's the administration going to start refilling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve?
That's again a decision for the president to make and our Secretary of Energy. There's no imminent plans to do that from what I understand. But as you have seen with the plummeting of oil prices in this country, it's because this president and our Department of Energy have really tapped into our resources here, and we have an increase of supply, unlike the previous administration that totally hampered our domestic energy efforts, but totally robbed and drained our strategic petroleum reserves. So when the time is right, the president will make that decision. But right now, we are utilizing the resources that God blessed us with right here in our country to produce energy.
Yeah, we have a lot of oil here.
On the one big beautiful bill, does the president believe the parliamentarian of the Senate should be removed?
I haven't spoken to him about that, and I'll let him speak on it. However, again, he knows this is part of the process and the inner workings of the Senate, and he wants to see this bill done. And he remains very much engaged in these conversations and in this process with lawmakers in both the Senate and the House side, and the whole White House does as well. In the back, yes, Libby.
Thank you, Caroline. Earlier today, the president stated that these photos out of Fordo that were showing nuclear materials being removed, suspected of showing that, were just concrete workers. What intelligence is that based upon?
Look, the president shared that statement with all of you, and I already answered the question about whether uranium was moved prior to the strike, and the answer is no.
Is there a chance that the DIA report becomes public at any point?
I don't think this administration is going to get into the habit of sharing classified top secret information. Those classifications exist for a reason, and I wish everyone who had the privilege of looking at these documents would respect that. Daniel?
Thank you, Caroline. You've been emphatic of the president's expectations for the one big beautiful bill to hit that July 4th deadline. You had a big meeting on Capitol Hill yesterday with the Republican Study Committee. Did you walk away from that meeting pleased with what you heard? Did it bolster your confidence that Congress is able to meet that the expectation of the president?
Yes, I did. The camaraderie at the Republican Study Committee was great. Members, expressed, their feelings about the bill, but as we saw, the bill passed through the House, despite many people believing it could not. So the House is ready to receive this bill back from the Senate so they can pass it and bring it to the president's desk. So it was a great meeting, and Republicans are very unified. And we also talked about the mayoral race in New York City and how the victory of the Democratic primary candidate really shows how far left and unhinged the Democrat Party has become. And Republicans truly are on the right side of every issue in this country. We are on the side of no men in women's sports, on the side of low taxes, secure borders. So that was the topic of discussion. And the unity was strong and the camaraderie was high. And I know everyone looks forward to being here at the White House for the bill signing next week. Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. The Supreme Court ruled this morning that South Carolina is allowed to deem Planned Parenthood is not a qualified healthcare provider, and that will block it from receiving Medicaid funds. Does the White House have a statement on that ruling? And would the president support a standalone bill from Congress to defund Planned Parenthood at a federal level rather than letting each state determine it?
I'll let the president speak on that legislative priority. But as for the Supreme Court ruling, the president has always maintained that Americans should not be forced to violate their conscience and their religious liberty by having their tax dollars fund abortions. And we're glad the Supreme Court ruled on that side today or yesterday.
Then on Iran, but on a domestic matter, in January, President Trump revoked security details for several former administrations, including Mike Pompeo, Mark Milley, and John Bolton. Given the heightened tensions with Iran right now, is he considering restoring those security details?
That's not under consideration right now. Fran.
If I could follow up on trade, and then I have a question about the bill as well. Are you saying at this point that there's no plans to extend that July 8th and July 9th deadline? I mean, especially with everything that's been going on from Iran to the tax bill on Capitol Hill, is that under consideration at all at this point?
Perhaps it could be extended, but that's a decision for the president to make.
And as far as the bill itself goes, since the president has been back, what has he been doing beyond the event that he's having later today to try and get wobbly senators on board? Is he making phone calls, twisting arms? Is he having some people over to the White House? Can you tell us more about that?
There have been meetings at the White House this week. I saw some senators rolling out of the Oval Office the other day, and the president remains on the phones talking to his friends in the Senate. when necessary, and when they call, he picks up the phone. And I think that's why they greatly trust and respect his leadership. And we're having that big event later this afternoon at 4:00. I would encourage you all to tune in. We're going to have some great everyday Americans who are in attendance. We'll have some tipped delivery. I think we're going to have a barber from the great state of Arkansas here in attendance. We're going to have some law enforcement officers, some Border Patrol agents, and Tom Homan will be speaking as well. So the point of this event is to show the American people how this bill works for them and how there are provisions in this bill that will change their lives.
Can you tell us which senators you saw rolling out of the Oval Office?
I'll let the president speak on that if you wish. I don't share details about his private meetings without his permission. Emily, go ahead.
Today, the Justice Department announced it was opening an investigation into employment discrimination at the University of California, alleging they had race and sex-based quotas. Federal law bars hiring somebody based on their race or sex, but do you also object to universities working harder to make sure they have a diverse group of candidates to consider? And do you expect more investigations like this from DOJ?
I have not seen that investigation from the Department of Justice, but I can certainly check in. What I can tell you, it's the position of this president that we want to restore a merit-based society and culture in the United States of America, where people are not hired nor are they promoted based on their color of their skin or their gender. The president wants people to be hired in the workforce because of their merit and their skill. And I think most Americans agree with that. I'll take one more. Carrie, because I promised you earlier.
So the Ayatollah Khomeini came out and said that Iran will, quote, never surrender to the U.S. That being said, what remains to do with the possible responses from Iranian proxies in the region and even in the U.S.?
Look, we saw the Ayatollah's video, and when you have a totalitarian regime, you have to save face. I think any common sense, open-minded person knows the truth about the precision strikes on Saturday night. They were wildly successful. And it's what led to the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran, which the president is very grateful for. And the United States of America remains prepared to defend our assets and our personnel in the region. And again, I would just emphasize the success of the strike that took place on Saturday night, and the world is a safer place because of it. Thanks, guys, for coming today, and you'll see the president at 4:00. Thanks.
Wow. That's from the White House, and thank God we have a great president, you know, such a great president that I think he deserves another term, like 2028, third term. Let's find out what they say about it.
Congressman Andy Ogles, a Tennessee Republican, says President Trump deserves another term in office. He posted to his social media saying, quote, if this week proved anything, it's that Donald Trump has earned a third term. He outmaneuvered the neocon warhawks and exposed the pro-jihad left while prioritizing peace. Let's be honest, he's the greatest leader we've had in centuries. Let's amend the 22nd Amendment and do our republic a service. I do want to bring in the congressman right now to discuss that proposition. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
This happened
Of course,
before.
and I just read that quote from your Facebook post about 24 hours ago. Explain to me overall your thinking here and why you believe that President Trump does deserve a third term.
Well, it's actually quite simple. You know, the temperatures across the country are hot, and the only thing hotter is Trump's winning. I mean, we've bombed the Iranian regime into the Stone Age. We're winning the tariff battle, and we're securing the southern border. And when you look historically, FDR weaponized the government against the American people. We're still paying that price. You have a president who is one of the most respected presidents in history, and he's reversing the trends and the bad actions of previous administrations. And so we have an opportunity to put America first, to really usher in the golden age of the United States. And that is going to be done through the leadership of President Donald Trump.
Does everyone on your side of the aisle, of course, talking about the right side of the aisle there, have anything to really say about this proposition? Does everyone appear to be on your side versus maybe those on the left?
Sure. You know, I think anyone who's serious about the future of our country and leadership is willing to take this into consideration. Look, it's got to be passed in the House and the Senate. It's got to be ratified by the state. So clearly there's a tough road to hoe or a path ahead. But that being said, it draws a distinct contrast between the Trump administration, his vision for America, and the failed policies of Joe Biden and the failed policies of Barack Obama. And so to have those conversations and to point out the differences between the two administrations, the fact that America America is safer today because Iran no longer has nuclear capabilities. The fact that tariffs are now bringing in billions upon billions of dollars into our coffers monthly, and the fact that our southern border is now safe. And oh, by the way, Joe Biden was taken advantage of both by Iran and our global friends when it comes to trade. And then when you look at the southern border, you literally had Iranian terrorists, terror cells walk across our southern border into this country that we're now having to monitor because of the failed policies of Joe Biden. So if there was ever a moment in time, and ever a moment in history, if you will, where you would do something this drastic, this historic, it would be this moment right now, and to give President Trump a third term.
And I do want to mention here, to make this happen, a 2/3 vote would be required in both houses of Congress. And then after congressional approval, the amendment would need to be ratified by 3/4 of the states. Do you believe that is possible? Can you rally enough Democrats onto your side on that issue?
Well, I would say I think anything is possible in this day and age. Look, New York, the city that was attacked by Muslims, 9/11, just elected a Muslim anti-Semite socialist. And so if that's possible, I would say this is possible. Look, I think America's going to see what a disaster that mayor is, and it's case in point as to why President Trump needs a third term.
If President Trump were to run for a third term, why do you think that he would win?
He should just
get it automatically with you, because he's winning. If there was an election held today, Joe Biden would lose, Barack Obama would lose, any candidate that the Democrats have would lose, and President Trump would prevail. And let's remember, Donald Trump won the popular vote, the Electoral College, in every single battleground state. Why? Because he had a vision, a real vision for a golden age of America. That is now coming to fruition. And once we finally get the big, beautiful bill passed, it'll truly unlock the full strength of the U.S. economy, and again, really focus on that golden age of America.
What's your next step here in making this happen?
Obviously we're focused on the big, beautiful bill, but to continue to rally support and continue to talk about it and draw the difference between Biden and Trump's vision for America. And again, I think it quite frankly speaks for itself.
All right. Congressman Andy Ogles there, Republican from Tennessee. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Well, stay tuned. It'll be, a hot 4th of July. But that being said, we do have sleeper cells in this country. Keep your head on the swivel, have fun, but be safe.
All right.
Yeah, I told you guys that like a long time ago. And now they're warning you guys. I'm telling you, I should work for the freaking Trump administration. I told them, listen, just take care of me, take care of my cats, and I'll help you guys out. Like I spoke upon this like a long time ago, and now they're like heeding the warning. So I guess the energy is passing through to them. And I got this one story here. Let's watch this one.
I wasn't going to do this, but I see Tom Homan is sitting there, and I have to call him up. Look at that. I don't call up the Speaker of the House. I don't call up Marco or Peter or anyone, but I want to call this guy because this guy is keeping us very, very safe. Come on up, guy.
Yeah, he's a very important guy. Look at that. President acknowledges him in front of everybody.
Look, I think this issue of the big, beautiful bill should be nonpartisan. I don't know what the hell's the matter with everybody up in Congress? People are dying every day. ICE is arresting 3 times as many criminals that the Biden administration did. We're taking public safety threats and national security threats off the street every single day. But we got over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal histories walking the streets of this country. We got less than 5,000 deportation officers. This should be a no-brainer. The more resources we get, if we get this bill passed, we got more agents on the road. We buy more beds, we get more transportation flights. More agents means more bad guys arrested, taken off the streets of this country every single day. Every day we arrest a public safety threat or national security threat. This makes this country much safer. Who the hell would be against that? And I get irritated, I get pissed off because I'm sick of meeting angel moms and dads. You want to talk about family separation? They buried their children. So I've done this since 1984. I've worked for 6 different presidents. No one has had the success of the Trump administration. We got the most secure border in the history of this nation today. But we need more border wall. Border walls save lives. Women and children can't get over that wall, which means they go to a place where there's not a wall. And what's waiting on them? The men and women of the Border Patrol who take care of this humanitarian needs and save their lives. We already got fentanyl seizures down half. Fentanyl seizures should be 100%. We should have zero fentanyl coming to this country. We need money to help secure that border at a higher level. Stop the fentanyl from coming in. Stop the sex trafficking of women and children. Stop the known inspected terrorists coming across that border. Right now, I was looking at the stats today. ICE is arresting a record number of known suspected terrorists in this country, along with the FBI. With more money, we can arrest more of these people, make this country safer. It's a nonpartisan issue. Let's make this country safe again. So to the Democrats and the Republicans and the independents, I don't care who you're from, pass the bill so we can make this country safe, so we can stop the violence against ICE officers. Let's make this country safe again. And without that bill, it's going to be a hard road. We got a lot of people to look for, a lot of people to arrest, a lot of national security threats we know are in this country. We need to find them. We need more money to do that. We need more agents to do that. For God's sake, let's pass this bill and get this done.
He got so angry he didn't even shake my hand or look at me. Just
We apologize. Oh.
But he's right. He's right. And we have no money for the border if we don't pass this bill. We have virtually nothing. And so we're going to get it done for you, Tom, and for all of the people that have worked with you. It's been amazing, the job you've done. And just in finishing, look, this is the largest tax cut in the history of our country. They want to give you, the Democrats want to give you the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. They have things, whether it's border or economic development or no tax on tips and Social Security and no tax on overtime and all these different things. There are hundreds of things here. It's so good. And we're going to also cut costs. We're cutting $1.7 trillion in this bill, and you're not going to feel any of it. And your Medicaid is left alone. It's left the same. Your Medicare and your Social Security are strengthened. We're not cutting. The Democrats are going to destroy all three of them because
yeah, but they should pay more for
They'll end
disability.
up cutting your Medicare, Medicaid in half. So we're going to do a real job. It's so important. So if you can, call your senators, call your congressmen. We have to get the vote. I want to thank you. You have been unbelievable, Mr. Speaker. You have worked round the clock for months. And, you know, I shouldn't say this, but we don't want to have grandstanders where one or two people raise their vote. We don't know. And they do it to grandstand. That's all. Not good people. They know who I'm talking about. I call them out. But we don't need grandstanders. We have to get our country back and bring it back strong. And our country is going to be stronger, bigger, better than ever before. We're going to make it better than ever before. And that's despite the bad hand that we were dealt 6 months ago. We were dealt a really bad hand. We were dealt a sick hand. It's unbelievable. You know, when I came back yesterday, as you know, I made a big trip to a place where we had 28 countries represented, and we did something that's never been done. They've raised the number of money, the amount of money that they've been to $1 trillion a year, and that's for world safety. But they all asked me the same question. They said, how could you have allowed this to happen to your country? I said, I didn't do it. But they said, how could you allow people to pour in? They don't understand it. They all have borders. They have fences, they have walls, or they have just strong people standing there. You can't do it. And they said to me, you know, it's amazing that they allowed these things to happen. And it's amazing, too. I agree. You know, as a business guy, I always like to understand where the other side's coming from. What do they want? What do they get? And, you know, you can make good deals based on understanding the other side. I never understood the other side in this case. Why would they allow people to pour into our country unchecked? You know, I can see people wanting people to come in, and you let them come in. You have a vetting process. You let good people. We're letting a lot of good people in, but they're coming in legally. But why would you allow people to come in that you can look at them and say, big trouble, big trouble? Why would you do it? It's nobody understands. And a lot of people say voting, but, you know, we've got to strengthen up our elections because the voting is crooked as hell. Got to strengthen it up. But it's not that. It's either they're stupid and they're not stupid, or they hate our country. but we love our country, and we're going to stop this madness, and we're going to get this bill approved. And all of the things that I've been talking about now for 2 years on the campaign trail, and we won, remember, we won every single swing state. We won by millions of votes. We won everything. We won every, it was a landslide. We won something that nobody talks about, districts. You have thousands of districts. We won 2,750 to 505. Think of that. That's why when you see a map, the whole map is red. That stands for Republican, by the way, because it stands for a lot of other things too, but it stands for Republican with a little piece of blue on each side. But that's why, think of that, 2,750 districts to 505 districts. That's what, this was a slaughter, but it gave us a mandate to do some great things. And I want to thank John Thune, and I want to thank the speaker, and I want to thank Marco and everybody here, they have been so incredible. Pam, you've been unbelievable as the Attorney General. We appreciate it. Not easy, not easy. And we're coming back faster than anybody ever thought possible. I told you what they said to me on just trips by very smart people. But we're going to make this, we're going to do this very quickly. It's happening a lot faster than even I thought possible. And we're going to be celebrating very quickly, and we're going to be celebrating for a long time because we're turning our country around. We're getting our country back, and we're ruling with common sense, you know, whether you're conservative or liberal, or as they like to say, progressive. They don't like the word liberal anymore. Progressive. I think it's a beautiful word too. That's why I call them liberal. It's too nice a word. I don't know how you can be progressive when you're turning the country backwards. But no matter what you are, it's all about common sense. And I think that's the way I've ruled. I do what's right. I want to have borders. I don't want to have transgender for anybody that happens to leave the house at a young age, the things they do. I don't want to have men playing in women's sports. That's got to be, you know, they say it's an 80-20. I think it's a 97-3 issue. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. There was a long distance race the other day, or at least reasonably recently, and they had a top man and they had top woman, but it was a woman's race, and the man entered. He happened to be transitioned. Isn't that lovely? And he entered the race, and he beat the champion woman by 5 hours and 14 seconds. 5 hours, that's a lot. Think of it. You're waiting 5 hours for your beautiful daughter to come in. Come on, baby, let's go. You can do it. He won by 5 hours and 14 seconds. It is crazy, and it's so demeaning, and they don't want to change. I see it the other day. Guys like Schumer, our great Palestinian senator, this guy, no, he's changed. He used to like Jewish people. Now he's totally against Jewish people. It's the most incredible transformation I think I've ever seen. But who would allow this to happen? In other sports, the same thing. Try the weightlifting numbers someday. You want to see some big differences. In a million years, the women will never catch these numbers. It's not going to happen. And it's very demeaning to women. And I don't like it when it's demeaning to women. So we're turning the country around fast. We love you all. Thank you very much. And good luck. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. That's shocking. You know that, right? That's like, to me, it's like, wow. I got 2 stories I want to see. Actually 3 stories. One is a non-political story. Okay. So I know I'm going more into politics. It's because the energy calls me to that, and I feed off of energy and how these people talk and how I'm like getting the message from them. And it's so much better than the Biden years, because who they had up there during the Biden years was very depressing and so, oh my God, horrible. I used to hate watching the press conferences. Like I really I like to be informed, but I hate, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about her. I don't even want to mention her name, put it that way. It was that bad. But let's continue watching some more news, and yeah.
Well, there's a united front at the White House. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth pushing back hard on a leaked Pentagon report, an early low confidence damage assessment that claimed U.S. strikes only set Iran's nuclear program back by 3 months. Now, the Pentagon showing this footage as part of its response of a previous test, and Secretary Hegseth maintaining the strikes were devastating.
President Trump directed the most complex and secretive military operation in history, and it was a resounding success. I can say here that the assessment is that we significantly damaged the nuclear program, setting it back by years. I repeat, years. Those that understand, those that see, those that do proper assessments recognize that what the United States military did was historic.
And Hegseth saving some of his ammo for the media that he accuses of undermining the military service members who flew the mission.
It's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump because you want him not to be successful so bad. You have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true. So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it.
As for plugging the leak, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the FBI is on the case, and she added this.
It's illegal, and they should be held accountable for that. Leaked bits and pieces of an intel assessment to push a false narrative.
We saw this
Someone
earlier.
who had their hands on this, and it was a very few people.
I watch all the
very
press conferences.
few number of people in our government who saw this report. That person was irresponsible with it, and we need to get to the bottom of it.
President Trump warning of harsh consequences if that leaker is caught. He posted on Truth Social. The Democrats are the ones who leaked the information on the perfect flight to the nuclear sites in Iran. They should be prosecuted. All right.
Wow.
Lots to get to. I don't think, Jesse, that it's irresponsible of the media to say, well, what was the efficacy of and the results of the strike? But to go forward with the Defense Intelligence Agency low confidence report as if it was gospel. And then it was like a wildfire all across the media. Does seem a little irresponsible.
It is. And we were so proud to hear from this general about this mission. It makes you almost cry. But to hear that this guy studied this mountain for 15 years and spoke to geologists and industry and explosive experts, and then 15 years later, they get the go-ahead and these pilots go in, and it's like 37-hour flight, and they basically drop 6 bombs down this air shaft, swish, 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 from 15,000 feet. The perfection and the precision, it's just incredible. And so it's obviously a successful hit. And the pilots even said it was I think the darkest night of the month. And they said all of a sudden it was like daytime. It was the brightest and most ferocious explosion they've ever witnessed. And they even practiced it on dummy mountains. And so, everyone's feeling this huge swelling of patriotism, and then CNN comes along and sullies it. Now, CNN says we didn't do anything wrong, but CNN spent 48 hours with guests at the top of every single hour saying the mission failed, saying the bombs didn't work, says the Iranians still have a nuclear program. What kind of effect does that have? You're basically taking classified information and using it to undermine the commander-in-chief and cast doubt on the effectiveness of the American military capabilities and putting the commander-in-chief at a disadvantage when he's trying to maintain a ceasefire. It's treasonous. That's the T word, Jessica. And Cash and Bongino are going to be looking at these congressmen now because I have a suspect list. I feel like I know who this person was. And you can easily find them. There's a limited amount of people that access this intelligence. You go and see who got access to it, and then you narrow it down, and then you get a warrant for their phone. So they better lawyer up because someone's going to go to prison for a very long time. I really think that when you add up the Israelis, even the Iranians, the CIA, the DNI, the Pentagon, they all say the same thing. They hit pay dirt. The only one saying it wasn't a righteous shot was the Ayatollah and CNN. And the only reason the Ayatollah is saying that is because he's bluffing.
If he's really saying it at all himself.
The Ayatollah.
Exactly. I think, Charlie, one of the things about this is that because America and Israel did something remarkable and outstanding for the world in terms, I believe, in terms of the peaceful nature of the future of the world, there is the possibility of a regional transformation. You now know that because of this action, if Iran isn't on the threshold of a nuclear weapon, they're basically like Oman. And so they don't have that. And now you have the possibility of expanding the Abraham Accords and a different Middle East.
Yeah, and I think that President Trump will get the same credit from these people that he got for the Abraham Accords, which were certainly among the one or two most significant things to happen in terms of world peace in the Middle East over the past several decades. A problem that is so intractable that every great statesman that's been produced in the past half century has basically lost in their efforts to try to bring peace there. And I'm hopeful. I was kind of amused listening to everybody talk about how the MAGA base was going to split in two over this. I always kind of find it funny when people suddenly become experts on Trump voters. They've been scornful of Trump voters forever, and then suddenly they're experts on it. I think that most Trump voters, they don't want to get into another war by any means. But if you had an option to either silence or put Iran out of commission, or at the very least take a nuclear weapon out of their hands, 90% of Trump voters would be like, yeah, that seems like a step in the right direction. And you're right. If this does happen, you're talking about an expansion of the Abraham Accords, a building on the Abraham Accords that we could have only dreamed of a couple of years ago. The people at CNN, these people, they're never going to give him credit for this. And in fact, I think that it actually is part of what drives them so insanely crazy, is that they see him bringing this level, actual common sense, a non-ideological approach to these problems with fresh thinking. And then he gets solutions and actually gets people talking to one another. And I think it worsens the Trump derangement syndrome. It's almost like it takes it to a whole new level of fevered pitch. They just freak out. And I'm sorry that these people are going to suffer so badly about this, but I would rather have, a peaceful world and a peaceful Middle East.
Emily, I was thinking about you today because part of the briefing this morning was a real chance to honor, thank, and celebrate the men and women who worked on this mission and they've worked on it their entire lives. They've practiced, as Jesse was saying, they've practiced this, they knew the mission, and also for the young people that were there under attack in Qatar at our base there. You're closest, I think, to the military here. What do you think that meant for them or to them?
An exceptional message of gratitude and honor that they so richly deserve. And I think so much of these military operations, the success, the efficacy depends on this absolute, perfect, magical collaboration between hundreds of thousands of people in all different forms and positions and functions. And when it's executed properly and it looks effortless, people think it's easy. But the reality is that it takes generations of institutional knowledge and that patriotism, that skill set that we can only find here. So I was deeply appreciative simply as an American to witness that. And I agree with you that it was a right moment to express that gratitude finally for these troops with this administration. Part of the hypocrisy I find with the media in terms of the reliance on this outlier report is that it's the same members of the media that are saying, well, it's going to take some time for us to be sure. So if that were true, why then did they pounce so immediately on the low confidence outlier leaked report, premature and uncollaborated, to have that finding, right? And we understand, of course, that it's one of multiple, but I think the worst part about their deceit is maybe not even just the deceit, but the fact that they fail to celebrate an American success and the choose your own adventure, the option that sees the expansion of the Abraham Accords, potential peace, prosperity, and total liberation, and that somehow they cannot celebrate that because of who the commander-in-chief was. And we know that it's political because we saw this under the prior administration, right? There was a complete reliance, rightly so, on the presidency of the intelligence community, but the media ran with that. They had no problem waiting for consensus and confirmed reporting, right? Remember that the Afghanistan withdrawal, when we were told by this administration that the Afghan government would be in effect and remain in power for a really long time. Well, clearly that was dead wrong, but the media had no problem furthering that. And the Chinese spy balloon, which was why Biden shot it down over the water. And of course, the 51 intelligence officials, former, who signed that letter to the same Natasha Bertrand. So the whole point is we see here that only now, with this particular commander in chief, do they choose to report and amplify the drivel that first comes out.
Well, a lot of that same media, it just occurs to me, Jessica, they were the ones who had a hard time saying that Biden's Afghanistan withdrawal was a failure.
Really? Maybe it's just my lived experience, but I felt like everybody was talking about how terrible that was. And we had reports right away that there were people within the administration who told him, we don't think that you can move this quickly. We know that this is the right end result, but this process will not work. Folks who worked for him in the Pentagon. So I don't know. That's just my view on it. I also don't know how many reporters there would be who got the opportunity to report that early intelligence brief on what had happened and wouldn't have put it out there. And then after it came from CNN, it was confirmed by other outlets. Listen, Donald Trump hates the press. It's his number one witch hunt or whatever. And Secretary Hegseth knows.
No, he doesn't hate the press. He hates CNN. He hates MSDNC.
They decide who's biased on a daily basis.
Right? No,
He does it all the time.
that's
He goes,
not
"Oh, you're not
true.
so bad today." And then
He does
tomorrow
not hate the
says, "Oh, wait,
press.
I hate you again." So
But he
Secretary
takes their
Hegseth was.
I don't know why they
That's
keep
fine,
this
but
girl.
it doesn't change the reality of it. That he.
She's like so
the way that he
airhead.
speaks to them, the way that he discredits.
And to sit in that
genuine
table
questions. And it happened
with
today with
all
Secretary
these
Hegseth
other
and
Republicans,
the questioning about
and she's the only
what
Democrat.
changed over the last 3 days, right? That you are now willing to say this was total obliteration when you said the reports are going to come in over time. And I know that it went well because we got the review from Trump, one of the greatest, most
Look, it says
professional and most
Jessica
confirming news
on
conferences
the
I've
paper.
ever seen. The fake news
Whatever
should have
she's
everyone
reading
involved in the
has a big ass Jessica name on
we
it.
should fire everyone involved in the witch hunt and apologize to our great warriors. I haven't
Perfectly
seen
fair.
anyone minimizing the warriors, asking questions about where 400 pounds of 60% enriched uranium is not minimizing what these warriors did. And we should note as well that people in the intel community, they're warriors as well, and they get diminished constantly. Talks about the deep state, et cetera. The European intel agencies are reporting that the uranium is intact. Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat,
Wait. Jessica, the Europeans, we were telling them Russia was going to invade Ukraine for a year, and they were like, "No, I don't see it."
Listen,
I think American and Israeli intelligence is much crisper.
Well, the senators were briefed today. Tom Cotton comes out and he said it was not part of the mission to destroy the uranium. Well, why wouldn't it be? If you thought that all the uranium was in Fordo, why wouldn't you have wanted
Because it
to
was the
totally
capability to
obliterate?
get the weapon.
Okay, so is no one concerned that there's 900 pounds of uranium, maybe in a truck, driving around the mountains there?
Pete Hegseth says he hasn't seen any intelligence that they took it out in trucks.
Correct.
And the guest today on Martha said those trucks
right.
that they saw
They're
parked
watching
next to the
them.
mountain
Satellites,
are not
dummy.
capable of bringing uranium out of there.
Well, Senator Chris Murphy,
This
who
girl's
was
so
also in
airhead.
attendance, said that saw no evidence that this has pushed back.
She forgets
the
she
nuclear
lives in
project any
America,
more than a few
and America is
So
like the
we'll
number
let- time
one
will tell.
snoopy
But I
of
thought it was a
all
very
Where's the
funny
line
countries.
of
They're very
acceptability
nosy.
for denigrating people between the intelligence figures and ICE agents? Why is it acceptable to denigrate ICE agents, but it's not acceptable to denigrate the leakers in the intelligence community?
Well, I don't. First of all, I'm talking about the intelligence community writ large. But if you're talking about an ICE agent who's masked and pulling someone out of a
Then
Home
it's okay.
Depot, no, I just say don't do it. I don't call them a bad person. Okay. I know they're following orders. I've seen Tom Homan and Stephen Miller.
Hey, Sean Hannity
That's
here. Hey,
crazy.
click here to
talks
subscribe
crazy
to Fox
talk.
News YouTube page.
First of all, those agents need to be covered up. They cannot be like exposing themselves like that. Hold on, let me come back to me. This is gonna be a long one tonight. I think I'm gonna push it for 2 hours, but I don't think I'm gonna go more than 2. Let's bring it back to me. It's crazy. She's like, it's just really wild. It's just wild times. It's just really unique times we're living in, and it's just it baffles me all the time. This is crazy. This is from Jason A. He put it out a couple of minutes ago. Let me set it up here, and you'll see. Let me just set it up.
Mysterious flying object shaped like a disc caught on military camera and now confirmed by the Pentagon.
Before we move on, I want to show you this new footage. This is real footage recorded from the military.
Hey, Paul.
Serious
How you
buzz
doing,
about
man?
UFOs.
Paul from
Investigative
Newcastle. How
journalist
you
Jeremy
doing,
Correll
brother?
and George
Hope
Knapp
everything's good with
obtained
you.
and released military
Nice
filmed
seeing you
footage. You're going
here.
to look at this disc in the sky. Just keep
Now
your
we're going
eyes
to
on that screen.
UFOs. Hold on. Let me change my
UAP,
background.
which is an unidentified
There it
aerial
is. Hold on.
phenomenon.
Going
across.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
See it right there?
It's
So
only
this
for the
footage was
segment.
captured over the Afghanistan-Pakistan
Okay,
border
here we
back
go.
in November of 2020. See it? What is that? What is
There you go.
that?
Is
For this,
really
for this
I mean, at the
report right
forefront
here.
of this. I will say I do not buy the UFO sightings in Michigan though. 3,000 plus sightings in Michigan. Show me one.
Over time.
There you go.
I know, but
This is
over
my-
time
this is
there
my
have been
alien friend.
televisions, there have been
I mean,
recordings,
some
there
people
have
call
been
him
cell
Paul.
phones. Like, show me
I'm
one.
like, it's
Like,
okay.
we
You
see
get
all
high
this
fives all
video
the
of
time.
You want to see videos
I
of
gotta
each
see
one.
it to believe it.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I
Yeah,
gotta
these
see
are
it.
actual reports that people are making.
I even understand that it might help us find a ninth
Holy shit,
planet in our
just-
solar system.
Look, my Minority
which we
Matter has
one
one
time
above
had, I
his
guess,
head.
decades ago with Pluto, but it's since been reclassified.
Well, we could have a discussion what a planet is, but what they're talking about is something big way out there. And if it's way out in the distant solar system, it's dark and it's hard to find. But again, the picture that they show with the press release of these little streaks, these are 1,000 asteroids we didn't know existed until last night. And so if this is able to look in the sky with other telescopes like the Roman Space Telescope, which will be coming online soon, and Webb and Hubble and all the big telescopes in Chile, somehow, if it's out there, we're eventually going to see it.
What appears to be a disc-shaped object captured back in 2020, possibly somewhere over Afghanistan, Pakistan, the border there. Roll the video here. Jeremy says that this was filmed by some sort of asset, DOD asset, and forward-looking infrared shot from above looking down, and was, according to Corbell, the U.S. Air Force describing this object as possibly navigating through the clouds. There's no heat signature that you can see here. Nothing you would expect for a normal aircraft as it dips its way through. We're told the Pentagon logged it as a UAP, but so far it has not appeared on the Aero public list. Got it. Real quick, what's the update on Capitol Hill? Like, sometimes it seems like
That's
there's
weird.
progress being made towards some sort of disclosure. Next thing you know, it's completely forgotten. No one's talking about it, and it seems like it's fallen off the radar. Like, when
It
are
has
we going to
not
get answers?
fallen off the radar. Should I be worried about my safety? What is this thing doing?
No, man, he's cool.
Right?
Look.
What do we
He's
think
a nice
that
guy.
it's doing?
He's cool.
I don't know,
It's
and
Paul.
that's being investigated a
I guess
lot
I
by
call him Paul
online
from the
sleuths
movie.
now too. But you have to figure out the UFO thing. It's been around for a long
pass
time.
by here
This is nothing
sometimes,
new. Your own government,
Yeah.
our
He
government,
has
has
his own
admitted that
segment
UAP, let's just
with
say
the
UFOs,
Like,
are
he's
real.
cool.
There are craft of unknown origin. They outpace, outmaneuver,
Sometimes I
and
give him something to
outperform
smoke.
anything
I
that
go
we
like this.
know
I go,
can
look,
be
dude,
made.
I got it right
So
here.
with that said,
Like,
what is it
pauses
doing? I have no clue.
So, do we think that there are other ones
like,
like
Paul,
this?
look.
Have we seen similar
Look what I got,
videos to
dude.
this?
Look, you
You
want
might not
some?
have seen similar videos to
Here,
this.
Paul.
I have seen
Like, you
similar
can
videos
smoke out
to
with
this.
me, man.
and I'm
I'll light
hoping
it
the
up for
public
you.
will
It's
be
not
able
lit
to see
yet.
those too.
You guys are saying that that's an
smells good.
alien
You wanna
carrying
smoke some?
spaceship
It
Here.
could
headed to
be
Afghanistan.
a UFO over there.
It smells good, huh,
monitoring
Paul?
things, checking
Hell
folks
yeah,
out.
that
Get
shit
back to
smells
us. Let us
good.
know.
I know.
Mario speaks for me on this topic.
That's
I mean,
fire
it's just,
for real. That shit
you
is
know,
good.
so how much more evidence do you need?
Paul, you're awesome,
Well,
dude.
are you calling
I
that
need to
video
give you some to
that's
smoke.
solid
I gotta
evidence
light
of?
it up
Oh,
and give
there's
you some,
no
okay?
doubt there's
Give me a minute.
unidentified
I'm
aerial
watching your
phenomena
bottle.
roaming
All
our
you got
skies.
here,
Yeah,
dude.
unidentified means we don't know what it is.
Yeah,
But
they don't know where
I'm
you
not-
are,
I'm just
dude.
not
You
making
hear
that
my
leap
show,
to
my
it's an
Minority
alien
Matter.
spaceship.
Tell them
But if you don't know what
you're
it is,
coming
I mean,
over
if you
here
don't
to
know
the
what it
show.
is, it's,
You're
we
running
know
a
what all
little
these
late.
other things are. So we're saying it's not those things. That's what that means. It's not just the guy who gets the footage doesn't know what it is.
I still want to
I don't
know.
That is.
I still want to know why I haven't seen video of the Las Vegas crash with the
Yes.
8, 9, or 10-foot human-like
Took
being.
that man away in a Jeep. They had to take the roof off.
Seriously.
Yeah,
And
right. Why haven't I'd like to see that footage as well.
no video of any of it. Does that not a little, like, I'm just asking a question seriously. We joke about this all the time, okay? Like, Does that not intrigue you a little bit? Why we have not seen any video of what was reported to be an alien space crash or encounter in the backyard of some random Las Vegas home.
Yes.
No video whatsoever, like not even a picture of the backyard, not a picture of this is where it took place.
And
Like,
the report was by some of the people who live there.
by the neighbors that there was an 8, 9, or 10-foot human-like being.
10-foot people, and then they got into
a Jeep and drove off.
Not somebody came and picked them up, but
I'm not
governmental.
Look, I have no opinion on
And
this.
all of the cell phone video and all the Ring doorbells, any kind of security video from the neighborhood, it's all gone.
You don't think that's suspicious?
Like, I'm seriously.
Do you really believe that happened?
I'm genuinely curious.
The police acknowledged they were on the scene.
Right. The police acknowledged it, and all the neighbors acknowledged it. And I just think for even a news station, local news in Las Vegas, why I have not seen, this is where this was reported in the backyard of this is, you know what I mean? Like, that genuinely doesn't intrigue you.
The police said they were told they could not speak about it. That's from the officer's mouths.
I'm just genuinely curious how that's not interesting.
Oh, it's super interesting. I'm super interested in how you guys believe that actually happened.
Remember what I said yesterday? Listen to me.
It's so exhausting,
Listen to me. Remember what I said yesterday?
Aliens got into a Jeep and drove away.
Like, we just can't agree on facts.
But facts are facts.
Right. That's what I mean.
She's denying the facts.
Right.
Let me do a little.
Facts are so
Remember what I talked to you about?
I saw it on video.
I talked to you about this yesterday.
I love
You
these
disagreed
two
with me. Will you
already.
agree with me now that
I
our
agree with
set
you
of
that-
facts?
Oh my
But it's not-
God.
you can't call it a set if you're not going to loop me into that.
I love these
All right.
two.
Could be different.
She's weird.
Somebody help me.
Weird,
Please.
weird.
The voice of reason.
No.
The aliens are real.
Facts are
I
facts.
need to look up more. You need to give me some kind of printout of
I
the
think it's
police
just
Hello,
reporting
facts is
10-foot aliens
facts.
getting
Big
into a
world
Jeep and driving
that
away.
there's so much going on and we don't know all these things in the world.
The most powerful digital camera ever built has released its first images of the universe. More than 2 decades in the making, the U.S.-funded $800 million Vera C. Rubin Observatory sits atop a mountain in Chile's Atacama Desert.
In
The
Chile.
images are composites showing the Trifid and Lagoon nebulas and the Virgo cluster. Over the next decade, it will continually scan the night sky, searching for new celestial objects.
I don't know. It still
Keith
looks
Gowing is
kinda
editor of
like
NASAWatch.com. He joins us from Washington, D.C. for more. Keith, you've seen the first images coming from this telescope. What's your reaction?
It's not clean.
Oh, I could probably pick it. I mean, it was just astonishing what you could see. We got a little bit of a preview last night, but if you see these pictures, it's taken with a telescope. This is one I had as a kid. It looks like this, except the camera would fill your studio. And I've got a 48 megapixel phone next to me. This has 3.2 billion gigapixels. So what we're looking at is, you can imagine that this little telescope is looking at a little piece of the sky. These pictures, one that showed, has 10 million galaxies in it. So you take, and the human eye can't even really take in these images. Eventually, when it's done, we will have a view that it's taken every night of the universe, that unlike anything we've ever had before. And they'll make it into a movie so we can watch the universe changing.
How do we process all that data? I mean, what do you do with so much data that even the human eye can't take it in?
Well, as they say, big pipes and big fast computers. As a matter of fact, it's terabytes per day, and they've that was sort
But they
of the
can't
biggest
tell you what's
issue,
in
not
our
the
solar
optics of the
system.
telescope, but what
But
do
they
you do
could
with
tell
the
us
data?
what's something
And how
like
do you
far
look
away.
through it? So
I question
AI
that.
and
you
a
know?
lot of very fast communications and
Mhm.
storage are
They
going to
tell
be
us,
involved.
oh,
And they've already
about this
proved
so
it works.
far,
The
far
images
away.
you're
It is,
seeing
but they
now
can't like
were
use
run
that
through that system.
telescope to look at, I don't know,
What are
Mars or
researchers hoping to
about
find out of this? What kind
Saturn
of
and
discoveries are they looking
Pluto.
for as they
I
pour
love
over this
Pluto.
material?
Well, first of all, when you take a picture with some of the space
So to
telescopes we
me,
have now,
I mean,
it takes a while to process it. You
I
get
don't
really
know.
amazing
I
pictures,
just
but
I feel like they
it's a moment
gaslight
in
us a lot.
time, or it's a long
They
exposure
don't want us to
staring
know
at one
that there's
place and
life
nothing
out there.
else. But what
A
this
lot of
can
life,
do is take
not just us.
huge field of
There's
view.
a
I mean,
lot
it's the
of
the
us
whole
out
sky
there.
as you would see it. multiple times a night, and then they just put it together, and you could see small changes. One of the things they showed is a little spot where they would take these pictures of little dots. They're actually new asteroids.
Pictures from the 80s.
In just a few hours, it
It
discovered
doesn't even look
nearly
clean. It
1,000
doesn't even
new
look
asteroids.
clear.
That's just in a test
Oh
run.
man!
So
What
imagine
the-
what
all
we're
that
going to be
money
able to
for this
find
shit?
and that's in our solar system alone. We haven't looked at exoplanets or anything else yet.
What
So
happened
it's an
to Hubble? What happened
astonishingly
to all the other
accurate,
satellites? The one they
up-to-date
sent
image
up
of the
there.
universe as it currently is, as
That's by
opposed
the
to
moon.
how it might have been 3 weeks ago.
We know that one of the mysteries of the universe is the existence of dark
They
matter.
keep a lot of
Scientists believe
secrets.
that
They're
the
not telling
substance
us, but
makes up
there is
most of
life
our
out there.
universe.
We know there's
How
life
is this new telescope helping solve exactly what dark matter is?
They want an
Well, one
invitation.
of the easiest
the
ways
world, they
in
want
physics to
like a
see
full
something that you
invitation.
can't
Saying,
see,
hey, yeah, we're out
see
here.
what impact it
You wanna
has on
come?
other things, because the gravitational field of a
You wanna
very
come to our party?
large object can cause, which you can't see, like a black hole, it can
We'll
cause
send
other
you a
things to
ride.
move in a different way because of that. Dark matter is a pervasive, we think, substance across the universe. But in whole, you can see how entire galaxies are affected by this, and stars. But when you can do this snapshot, like, every, few minutes, and assemble it together into a movie, a 3D movie, you can see things moving that you probably would never have noticed before. So it's better pictures, brighter objects, and more up-to-date information than we've ever had before.
Wow, that's pretty cool, Jason A. That was awesome. It's they're gonna send us a ride. Okay, just beware when you're out there in the world. At any moment, they could come for you. Okay, don't think you're safe. Remember, they could capture you. They like to probe people. Look, they sent someone here. Look, watch this. This is one of them. They came through, but they fucked up and they crashed. Yo, dude, what are you doing? Look, your friend came down and he crashed. Not good. He's not a good driver. Look up at the blue skies and you're gonna see a streak of light coming down. Like a little meteor came down. Look, ooh, that was bright too. Ooh, it flared. Right at the end, it flared. Look. Oh wow. Oh, so many vehicles with cameras. I want to put a camera in my vehicle because I want to record the fucked up drivers we have up here in Connecticut. Like, for real. Like, I want to have a segment on my show stating the fucked up drivers of Connecticut. For real, look at that. Wow. Look how bright it was. In the daytime, look how bright it was. Whoa, look at that. See from the distance. It was way out there. Look. See it right now. Look at that. Wow. That was bright. I wonder if it hit anything. I don't know. I haven't seen this. I just saw it. I just put it on right now. Dude, don't send freaking rocks over here, dude. I'm trying to catch the We're at peace here. Don't start throwing fucking rocks at us. Look at this. A lot of angles, I guess, That's what they're showing, a lot of angles of the same shit. Wow, near close. You have to show it multiple times the same fucking angle. You guys are crazy. Like, let me see if there's another story on that. This is let me see. Let's check out the news over there.
A lot of excitement today in the sky west of us in the upstate and all the way down to Georgia. I think they saw this fireball coming out of the sky, Wes.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Some excitement during the day as a bright light streaked across the sky. Normally we might see a fireball or a meteor at night, but we very rarely see it during the day. And that's what Brian Updike captured down in Aiken County, South Carolina this afternoon from his dashboard. There it is. So a fireball, a meteor streaking across the sky. and it's bright enough to be seen during the daylight. So you know it's a pretty significant event if it's outshining the sun, right? So that's one view of it. Let's go up into space, because our NOAA GOES 19 satellite that's usually looking down at
I picked it
clouds
up.
also caught what we now think is a bolide meteor, which is a special meteor that has an extra bright flash when it enters our atmosphere. And from the satellite looking down on our planet, this is down here in Georgia, there's Atlanta, just outside of Atlanta, they caught the flash showing up on satellite. So those are the clouds we normally might see. Here's Western North Carolina, where you see another flash right there. That's actually lightning from the thunderstorms they're getting. They're not getting thunderstorms in Atlanta, so something's got to be making that bright flash. And the Henry County Emergency Management got a call that somebody had something drop through their roof. There's the hole it produced. This picture just outside of Atlanta.
That might be there. That's going to worth a lot.
Images I just showed you. And so, yes,
that's worth a lot of money.
Looks like a meteor
came
down from outer space and went through these people's ceiling. Nobody was hurt, but some very rare air happening during the middle of the day in the southeast United States. So that's kind of a nice break from talking more about this, the heat. It was back into the 90s today, a lot less storm action, thank goodness, at least in our area. We've got a few downpours up in southern Virginia, around the Virginia border. The severe weather today.
I don't want to know about your weather out there. It looks pretty hot in the 90s, and yeah, that's wild. Like, dude, I don't like the 90s. Today was 69 here, so that was pretty nice. It was nice today, nice and comfortable. Let me put on this story here about thousands of Florida drivers report car paint peeling off in sheets, meaning the sun, the rays of the sun is very active and very strong, and is radiating onto the earth like in a very hyper like energy, and it's peeling the paint off of fucking cars. Like, let's watch this story. You'll be the judge.
Across Florida and the country, consumers are peeling into a problem with their cars.
There are thousands of complaints from car owners saying that they have paint problems. I mean, look at this. We're talking about not just small chips, but sheets of paint coming off. It's why 10 Investigates is diving deeper tonight to find out what you can do to get this problem fixed.
Here's investigative reporter Jennifer Titus with the steps to take now to protect your car and your money.
This is how it starts. You get a little
paint peeling on his car.
Chip. It looks like a chip, but it's actually a flake.
Is becoming common for Ed Rinkowitz.
I gotta get my car painted too.
That flake.
While he wishes this was some sort of really flake, he says this is now his third Hyundai where the paint
and it just started doing
to
that.
Peel off.
My daughter's hood basically just flaked completely off. Probably maybe 10% of the paint was left on it. And then my wife's car started, and that was probably 30 to 40% that was coming off. And we traded both those cars in.
Both of those cars were white.
It starts out just like a tiny, like a stone chip.
No, mine's is gray, and it got. I'll take a picture of it to prove it too.
Like in sheets.
I come with receipts. Fuck that.
Many
I know
of you
the
also
feeling.
reached out telling us about peeling paint. Then we uncovered Facebook groups with thousands of members across the country saying the same thing happened to them. From
Wow.
Hyundai to Kia to Toyota and Chevy, a majority of the cars were white.
Well, we brought it to the dealer and said, hey, what's going on with these cars? I've got two white 2015 Elantras, very similar models. And they said, well, it's not under warranty. And if you want, we can send you to a body shop and you can get it painted. I was like, I don't think that's right.
Many consumers
how
didn't
much it
think
is.
so either. We found class action lawsuits for customers saying their paint peeled right off. Some of the manufacturers did start to extend warranties and recalls to get cars fixed. Hyundai recently announced an extension for 8 different models.
But some car owners
Yeah,
tell
the
us that
sun
they've
is really
already ran
aggressive.
out of time.
I
The
felt
owner
the
of this
sun.
Toyota
I know.
Corolla says she was told that the recall to get this paint fixed expired last year. Let me show you just how easy it is for this paint to come off.
Look at this shit.
Look it. It's literally lifting.
What the
with a
hell?
little bit of water. She says she can't take this car into the car wash because literally
Nah, it'll
there
come
would
out.
be no
It'll
paint
come out
left.
silver.
Is there anything that a consumer can do if they purchased a
It come out.
car
It come
and
out looking
now
like
they
a
realize
metal,
that there's this problem that they believe is truly
and
a
it
defect?
corrodes.
So if you
It
get
starts
denied a
like
warranty claim, that's not the
oxidizing.
end of the road for you. First off, the most wise thing to do is to ask your manufacturer for an extension of the warranty. What's being found is that this painting issue is a defect in manufacturing.
I guess there's some hoops you have to jump through to see if it's a warranty issue.
Ed
Yeah, they
says
might
once
be using
again
some
he's going to
cheap-ass
take his
paint.
car back to the dealership and see if they will fix the paint.
These are all brand new cars from the dealers.
Wow,
So
brand new
you can't really
cars.
say, oh, somebody else did something to it.
His 2020 car that he specifically bought, not in the color white, never thinking
2020.
he'd be dealing with this paint problem
Look at
once
that.
again.
You know, it's just
For
annoying, to
2020?
say the least. That
Oh
when
no,
the
dude, you
paint
got
comes off
fucked.
that quickly.
Oh
and
man,
why
that's
it's coming off.
bad.
I'm 70 years old. I've owned cars since I was like 16 years old. I've never had a
Wow.
car where the paint flaked off like that.
And many auto body shop owners I talked to say primer problems could be to blame. We reached out to multiple car manufacturers to find out what customers can do. Hyundai tells us they have support options and they recommend going to their website to see if the car's VIN qualifies. Kia says start with the dealership, and if they don't address the issue, you can call their customer care center. We have
And
all the
then
info
if
in
they
our
don't
story
fix
on the
it,
free
call your
10
attorney.
Tampa Bay app. And if you feel like the manufacturer isn't taking care of this for you, you can report the problem to the Attorney General. Jennifer Titus, 10 Investigates.
That's wild. That's wild. That is so wild. Let me bring it back to me. No, Paul was doing good. Paul's cool. We're gonna leave Paul here because he was like faking out everybody the other day, and he showed up on fucking radar, and people are freaking out. He's like, he's right here, yo. He's chilling with me. Drink some water. I take my medicine, but drink water. When I say drink water, you gotta drink water. Drink water. It's good to drink water. Gotta hydrate. Paul doesn't drink that much water. He I don't know. He's a little weird. He's a weird guy. He likes to smoke though. That motherfucker. I gotta be careful with him because he starts smoking my shit, and I'm like, yo, Paul, that's enough, dude. Don't be smoking all my fucking shit. I know you be eyeing my shit all the time. That's why I haven't let you on the show because you're fucking crazy, yo. You don't know how to handle his smoke. Remember, he's not from this planet. But he likes to smoke. He likes to light up, yo. I get Paul some all the time. I never chip him out. They're like, damn, Ricky's smoking some good ass shit. Nah, I'm having a good time. Laughing is good. Paul loves it. Like, I have to light it up for him. He's busy always waving. Like, Paul, you gotta fucking move your arms, dude. You look fucking weird. But your aircraft is fucking awesome. I really like your aircraft. They have a really cool aircraft. Really fucking cool. And I don't know, is this your friend? I want to know if this is your friend. Is this your friend? Paul, let me know. I'm gonna make you Paul, just hang out for a second. Watch. Check this out. Is that your friend, Paul? I'm trying to figure out, like, what is this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is this? I mean, I'm trying to figure out, like, who can I compare this person? This person has a familiar face, like one of the actors, but I can't recall his name. I mean, I can't recall his name, but he reminds me of an actor. The face, just try to erase the hair off like from looking at him. Just try to see his face, and not look at the hair because the hair is very distracting. Okay, that hair, it looks like an atomic bomb went off. Like that's the poof you get. That I don't know how they washed, how he, it's a he, she, I don't know what it is. They're saying it's a guy. So I mean, okay, so where's his clothes? Why he's not wearing a shirt? If this is a guy, like what is he wearing? Because his shoulders are really exposed here. So is he wearing a shirt or not? I mean, is it because he has a green thing around his neck? So is he a transsexual? But in Florida, they have to call him what he is, and he's a male. That hoop earring did not help. Paul, you see this shit? Dude, look at this shit. It's just fucking funny, dude. It's fucking funny. That earring, it just it's something, man. I don't know. Make it make sense. Help me, guys who are watching, ladies and gentlemen. This is the mess that we're living today, and I'm gonna wrap up the show because I hit that 2-hour mark and I'm done. I'm tired. It was a good show. You see, I'm leaning already, so I've been leaning throughout the whole show. So I'm in pain, but it was a great show. We it was very entertaining. I gotta say, if you like the show, subscribe. I need more subscribers. I'm still at that 440 something mark. We need to shoot that up. My boy Tyson is about to get to 90. I think he should be already at 90. Let me go check. Let me go check my boy. Let me check Tyson Del Cruz. See what's up. Where is he? Here he is. I have a big list. So did he reach 90 yet? Or is it nah, but he's creeping up because yesterday he was 89.2, now he's 89.3. So those who are in my channel, you gotta check out Tyson De La Cruz. He's really good with news, and he's a really good guy, man. He's funny. I talk to him all the time. Good people. We gotta bump those numbers up to him too, and I'm gonna try to help him out with the merch and give him my ideas of certain shirts and certain things, because I think he could definitely make a lot of dinero. I watch almost all his stuff. Like, there's very few that I haven't watched, and I could watch like this one. We can check it out. Hold on, let me set it up. So he does have a paid advertising, which is that that chapter. So when that chapter comes up, I'm gonna pause it and skip it. So because he has to do that because he's making money. He has to make money. But we already know about that damn chapter here in our game here in our My Mind Over Your Matter. So when it pops up, he's slick. He's very smooth with it too. He blends it in with the show, and he does it so smooth. He does it, I think, as smoother than Brett Cooper. If you know Brett Cooper and you watch her show and you see how she goes into, selling like and advertising and got to make that dollar, so got to push the advertising. But the way he smooths it out, he's just like Brett Cooper smooth, like very smooth, too smooth. But let's check it out. Let's check this one out before I leave, because I was gonna wrap it up, but it's okay. Yeah, his show he hasn't put out anything yet. It comes on a little later. It uploads a little later. So we'll watch it tomorrow. I'll probably put it on the morning show. Let me get this started here. Let me set it up.
Cell phone video shows Hugo Montero in the red jacket being put into a car by agents in plain clothes.
We're told agents confused the Brazilian American for someone else.
America, a Brazilian American citizen was mistakenly detained by ICE agents outside a federal courthouse. But his response will shock you. Hugo Montero, who became a U.S. citizen in 2020, was handcuffed and put in a car by plainclothes agents who confused him for somebody else. But instead of being angry, he said, they're just doing their job. I'll still support what they're doing. I voted for Trump. Meanwhile, even illegal immigrants are telling CNN they support Trump's deportation policies because they want a better America for their children.
The profiling is horrible because of all the immigration. They have to profile, you know.
Montero is a Brazilian American who says he became a U.S. citizen in 2020. He says he was at court for work, and when he came outside, that's when he was placed in handcuffs.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly illustrates the difference between people who respect the rule of law and those who think America owes them something. Let me break down why even people directly affected by immigration enforcement are supporting Trump's policies. Let me start with what happened to Hugo Montero. Cell phone footage shows him in a red jacket being put into a car by agents in plain clothes outside a federal courthouse. Montero is a Brazilian American who became a U.S. citizen in 2020 and was at court for work when he was placed in handcuffs.
And we're told agents confused
I
the
didn't see no
Brazilian
handcuffs on
American
him.
for someone else.
Now, you might think this guy must be furious at ICE and Donald Trump, right? Well, listen to what he said after being released.
When I came out, they took me, but again, I was not expecting this at all. I'm still shaking, but I'm okay.
Listen to his incredible response here.
I showed them my ID, my passport on my picture, and they confirmed that it was not me. They're doing their job. I still support what they're doing. Unfortunately, they caught the wrong person, but I still support whatever they're doing. And I voted for Trump, and there are a lot of bad people in this country, to be honest with you, because they don't deserve to be here.
And that right there, that moment of being shaken but steady, calm in the chaos, that's what separates people who trust the system from those who want to tear it down. But what if
That's
the
why
system
he's a
is broken,
citizen
like
of this
Medicare?
United States.
Let's talk about that for a second, because
You know
I
what I mean?
guarantee somebody
He
watching
earns
this or their
his
parent is
keep.
stuck in the middle of that
Yeah.
right now. Here's the reality. Medicare is confusing on purpose.
There
You
he
get
goes.
slammed
He's
with
slick.
Junk
I
mail,
told you he's
telemarketing
slick.
calls, $0
We need
this,
to jump
bonus
on this
benefit
one.
that, and you're letting them review their plan, and it's
I
costing
think this is the
them
sponsor side.
big time.
Yeah,
We're
this is the
talking about
sponsor.
thousands of
I think,
dollars
we
a
could
year,
jump
and
ahead.
sometimes worse.
Yeah.
Make the call. Get peace of mind.
Sorry,
Good
Tyson.
chapter. But Hugo's story wasn't the only one that caught my eye this week. CNN just interviewed an illegal immigrant who says he supports Trump's deportation policies even if he gets deported. Let that sink in. When asked why he supports Trump, he said for the economy. When asked if he's afraid of being deported in Trump's mass deportation, he said, I'm not afraid.
This illegal alien told CNN that he supports Donald Trump even if he gets deported.
You support Donald Trump because of the economy.
For the economy, yes.
Are you afraid that you could be deported in this mass deportation?
See.
I'm not afraid.
This man explained why
He's not
Latino
afraid,
men are
but
going to Trump.
he-
Democrats
they
have
come
forgotten
to
the
get him,
promises that
you
they
know.
made when these guys got in office in Washington.
Yeah,
The
he's not a
Latinos want
criminal.
a better nation. When asked
But
if he
he-
would
he
regret
come here
supporting
illegal,
Trump
he's
if he
illegal,
gets deported,
so,
his
I mean-
answer was remarkable. He said no.
Explain why Latino men are going to Trump.
Democrats forget the promise when these guys are in the office in the Washington. The Latinos want a better nation.
If you get deported, would you regret your support to Donald Trump?
No me arrepentiría.
He's saying that he wouldn't regret supporting Donald Trump.
The interviewer tried to press him.
So you're really not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your children and the future of your children.
Yes, I want the better for my children.
Do you have a plan in case you get deported?
I respect that decision. I leave the country. I'm not coming back.
Now, for people like this who respect American sovereignty, the Trump administration has created a smart alternative. They've given illegal immigrants the option to self-deport. Over 5,000 illegal immigrants have already used the CB1 app
I
to
mean, if he
self-deport. More
came
than
through the
60
proper
migrants
channels, man,
self-deported
he'd
from
come
Houston
back.
on Monday.
You know
as
what I
part
mean?
of Trump's latest
It's
immigration
just
program.
The Trump administration has given the
That's just
option
the
to illegal
problem.
aliens to self-deport.
More than 60 migrants
That's the
self-deported
problem.
from Houston on Monday as part of the Trump
illegally.
administration's latest immigration program. The Department of Homeland Security
run
flew
off
them back to
Google,
Honduras and
you know,
Colombia for
sadness
free
about it, but
and promised them a
that- we didn't
$1,000
make
stipend.
that
Here's the
decision.
genius
They
of this
did.
program. Anyone who
They came here
self-deports can
illegally.
legally return to the United States in the future through proper channels. It's a dignified way out
Yeah.
that respects both American law and human dignity. And leaving on their own accord allows illegal immigrants to avoid situations like workplace raids we're seeing across the country.
It says anyone who self-deports can legally return here to the U.S. in the future.
And of course,
see,
leaving on
if
their
you
own accord
self-deport, you
allows
can
for
come back.
illegals to avoid
So
situations
if he
like
leaves,
this.
he can leave and come
Construction
back.
workers who we met
But he has to come
say
back
that
through
the
the proper
constant
channel.
normal sounds of hammers and nail guns have been replaced by an eerie quiet.
Man, nobody's building.
For those who don't take the self-deportation option,
They
ICE
use
is
all the free-
conducting
the free-
massive
the-
workplace
the-
raids. New video
these-
from
oh my
Homeland
God.
Security in Tampa
These
shows
construction
agents walking up
builders
to
and the
houses,
owners
people in
are so
handcuffs,
cheap.
some being fingerprinted, and
But they
officers
get,
waving at
you know, they
workers
get
on
workers,
roofs to come
you know?
down.
In a
The
brief
ones that
video
cost,
posted by
they're
HSI
good,
Tampa,
but
you can see agents
you got to be
walk
careful
up
with them
to
because
this
they build
house.
shitty.
New video from Homeland
They
Security
build
in
shitty
Tampa shows
houses, and
people
they
wearing
do it on
handcuffs,
purpose.
someone being fingerprinted, and then an officer waving at a worker on the roof so they can come down.
HSI caught migrants in Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras in these raids. 4 were charged with
Wow.
illegal reentry after previously being deported. This shows the revolving door problem we had under the Biden administration. People getting deported and coming right back.
HSI tells us ICE agents caught the migrants in the villages, all of them from Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras. 4 were charged with illegal reentry after previously being deported.
Florida is
Oh,
also
wow.
cracking down on employers who
A
hire
violator.
illegal workers.
Oh,
This
boy.
immigration attorney explains that in Florida, the first violation for employers is a fine up to $500. The second time it becomes a second-degree misdemeanor with up to $500 in fines and up to 60 days in jail.
Immigration attorney in Orlando, Alan Rivas, says in the state of Florida, the first violation for employers is a fine of up to $500.
The second time, it does become a second-degree misdemeanor, and that can carry up to $500 fine and up to 60 days in jail.
What these stories show is that people who respect the rule of law and understand what Trump is trying to accomplish, Hugo Montero, despite being mistakenly detained, recognizes that ICE agents are just doing their job to remove bad people who don't deserve to be here. The illegal immigrant who supports Trump, even knowing he might be deported, understands that strong immigration enforcement creates a better America for future generations, including his own children. It's not about hatred or racism. It's about the rule of law.
I mean, they're going to
creating
respect them
orderly
more at work.
immigration systems that
Most-
work
So,
for
you know,
everybody. Legal immigrants who follow the rules
he could have
support
taken it a
enforcement
different
because
way.
it validates their
I
sacrifice
would've
and
been like,
efforts to do things the
"Motherfucker,
right
I'm
way. Even
American,
people who are
bitch."
here illegally but respect American sovereignty understand that a country without
He's like, "Where
borders
you were
isn't really a
born?
country
Fucking
at
Miami,
all. They want their
motherfucker."
children to grow up in a nation that enforces its laws.
Like, oh
and
man, this
maintains
is an
order.
American.
America,
He
these
is
stories
American.
perfectly
You
illustrate
could,
the
he
difference
could hear it
between
in his
people who
voice.
respect
That's
our
right,
country and those
motherfucker.
who think they're entitled to break our laws without consequences.
Oh,
Hugo
no.
could have been angry about his mistaken
He's
detention,
like, he
but
got a
instead
potty
he
mouth. I go,
recognizes
yeah, I
that
learned
ICE
from
agents
Trump,
are doing
motherfucker.
necessary work to protect America. The illegal immigrant who
Oh,
told
no.
CNN he supports Trump even if he gets deported understands something that many Democrats don't, that strong immigration enforcement creates a better, safer, more prosperous America
Man, he could
for
come back. If
everyone,
he self-deports,
including
he could
immigrants
come
who are here legally. Trump's
Just come
approach
back
gives
through the
people
proper channels, you
choices,
know, because he got to
self-deport
raise those
voluntarily
kids.
with dignity
So
and the
don't
possibility of
give him
returning
some leniency
legally
on
or
that.
face
If he's a
enforcement
good
action
citizen
and
and
potentially
he's
permanent
proven to be good,
banishment. Most rational people are choosing the smart
I mean, why
option.
not?
People respect clear rules and fair enforcement, even when it affects them personally. I'll keep you updated on stories like this as they develop. And remember, when you enforce immigration law fairly and consistently, even people being affected often support these policies because they understand it makes America better for everyone. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, yeah, Tyson Dela Cruz, pretty cool dude, man. I like that he helps out the show by, you know, saying that like and subscribe and all that good stuff. It's a good thing, man. He's really cool people. Happy to call him a friend. definitely happy to call him a friend. Yeah, I'm just still smoking a bit here. This is from the second joint. I'm probably just not gonna smoke the whole thing. Just leave the rest for tomorrow morning. This is where I left off. You know, just take over from where I left off from tonight's show and do it all over again in the morning. Every day is a new day, especially with Trump, man. There's news every day, and the energy is different, is wild. It's like we got to feel out the energy, especially in the media and the news. You always got to listen. Not a lot of people pay attention to the government, and I do, because I listen to them. I listen to the energy. I listen to what they're saying. You know, I listen to both sides, even the Democrats, and the Democrats sound so weird and stupid, and like they lost their ways, man. It's like, my goodness, that party like self-destruct. Like, I think like Obama fucked that party up. I think he did, man, because like it's just been not good at all, not good. And yeah, they never impeached Obama, right? His ass should have been impeached a lot of times. He should have been impeached, but yeah, just my opinion. But Tyson comes up with some good stuff. I was just seeing if he came out with a new video. I could check to see if he came out with something. Let me see. Nah, nothing yet. He puts up every day, so he always puts a video. He's been going with the kids, you know, saving the kids and from these super creeps that are it's just, I don't even want to talk about it. I talked about it yesterday. If you want, you can watch yesterday's show, yesterday night's show. Gotta save the children. There's a lot of children that's in this country illegally, and they're trafficked and they are used, abused, and yeah, it's just super wild times. But I want to check out one more news about the sleeper cells. This is where I was drawing a lot of concern, and they came out with a story. So let's watch this story, and then I'll wrap up the show because I'm gonna end this a little. Well, I did my 2 hours, so but I always go a little over for some reason. My bad for the people who are watching. I'm sorry, but let's check in with this here and just listen in.
I want to show you this live vantage point that we have there in St. Paul. We do know that there, a man who was among 11 Iranian nationals who were arrested by ICE this past weekend. This, of course, following an American strike on Iranian nuclear sites. And to bring into the conversation now our partners there at Fox 9, I want to bring in Soo-Young Kim with Fox 9 there in Minneapolis. She has much more on this. Soo-Young, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. What else can you tell us about this arrest that was made?
Well, Christina, the Department of Homeland Security says ICE arrested, like you mentioned, an Iranian national on Sunday here in St. Paul. Here's what we do know. DHS officials say 56-year-old Mehran Makari Saheli was ordered to be removed from the U.S. in 2022, but say he remained in the U.S. illegally. Federal officials also say he had been previously convicted of being a felon in possession of a firearm in Minneapolis, where he was sentenced to 15 months in prison. DHS says he's a former member of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and says he has admitted connection to Hezbollah, which is a U.S. designated foreign terrorist organization. And for now, he remains in ICE custody pending his removal from this country. Christina, back to you.
I have to ask you before I let you go, Soo Young, as we're following this case, we know that there's a very diverse neighborhoods there in the St. Paul area as well as Minneapolis. Have you heard from any other local leaders responding to this arrest? Anything from them?
And not specifically to this arrest, but there has been a lot of backlash, a lot of discussion from both sides here as those ICE raids continue across the country.
Gotta go. Gotta go. Just like me. I gotta go. But be careful out there, especially 4th of July. You know, people put their guard down and they're all entertaining and barbecues and getting together in parks and beaches to watch the fireworks shows, and you got to keep your guard up, especially these times. You never know, because they could say, yeah, you think that was our retaliation, those missiles that you send to your base that you intercepted, you think that was the retaliation? No, watch this. And they'll have like, yeah, I don't want to put it to existence, because when I say it, it usually comes out and happens. But got to be careful out there, especially, you know, where there's a lot of people. Just stay away from large groups. That's what I'm saying. You know, enjoy the 4th. You know, may the 4th be with you and all that good stuff. It's not even May, but it's the 4th of July, and it's like, it's a special time, you know, here in the United States, and it's a very opportunistic time for others to intervene and protest and voice their displeasure and disrespect this country. And I think these people should be all gathered up and put into a prison camp or like a detention center, where it's kind of like a prison. Like maybe like the story I did this morning about Gator Alcatraz, the alligator Alcatraz that's going to be opening up in the Everglades in Florida, South Florida. I used to live not too far from there. I used to live like 30 miles from that where the prison, well, they're going to be doing a detention center in South Florida, which is going to be one of the world's first, that if you try to escape, good luck, because between the Florida heat, the humidity, and like not only the sun, but at night you can't see shit because it's black. If you don't have no source of light, you're screwed, because that's a good 30 something miles to civilization. You know, that's a long ways. And if you don't get discovered right away, you know, I don't think you're going to have a 30-hour head start. Like not 30 hours, but I mean, how long would it take to walk 30 miles? I don't know. A lot of people don't even walk 1 mile. There's a lot of people that say, fuck it, they don't even walk. They get on their car and they're like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. Hey, Paul. Have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. I know it's late where you're at. Get some sleep, man. But thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate you so much. 1970s movie. How about Russian sleeping cells and US with, yeah, Charles Bronson. Yeah, yeah. Telephone. Yeah, telephone. Yeah. Telephone is, yeah, telephone. I'm gonna look that movie up to see if they have it on YouTube. Yeah, you gotta see if they have it on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they probably. I like watching black and white movies, by the way. I do. I feel like it's more. I mean, I feel more comfortable watching black and white. I grew up black and white, and then color. They switched to color, and kind of fuck with me. It kind of creeped me out, to be honest with you. From going from black and white to color, because we didn't have color TV. I had black and white TV, but that's how I grew up. But on that note, everybody have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Where you're at? Well, here it's good night. I'm signing off early here. Like the train of truth. Yes. It's like, yes, go ahead and sign off early. I'm gonna wait 5 more minutes to make it the half hour because it's 9:25 right now. So let's make it a 9:30. But the world is very interesting right now. Look at Paul. He's fucking interesting. I gotta give him something to smoke. Hold on, Paul. They give Paul some medicine. He fucking likes it, man. That's why he keeps coming back and making appearances and shit because he keeps running over here to get something to smoke. There you go, Paul. He likes this shit. He doesn't cough. He just inhales and he keeps it inside. Like he says, they don't know how to exhale. They just suck it in. I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, okay, Mr. Paul. You know, it's good shit. That's why he keeps coming back. And he knows I get it from the dispensary. He's like, man, I know you get the good shit. It's like, yep, I do. I get the good shit. And I feel good. You know, marijuana doesn't make you, crazy and jittery and all that crazy shit. Like the wacky, what was it? What they used to call it back in the days, back in like the 60s, 50s, 40s. It's like wacky weed or something, or some shit they used to call it back in the days. Oh man, something wacky. I don't know. I truly have a brain fart on the name they used to call. I seen a documentary on it, and how they really branded marijuana like a really negative thing, and they kind of like classified it really, really high, like as bad as cocaine and heroin. I'm like, this is not nowhere close to any of that, by the way. I'm doing a show and I'm chilling. I'm having a good time. I love smoking and doing my show because the medicine gets deeper into my system because I'm talking. And when you're talking, you're ingesting more oxygen. And since I'm using more oxygen, I'm putting more medicine into my lungs, into my body. So the medicine gets into me deeper. Damn, right? That's fucking, you're in that level? Hell yeah, I'm in that level. Snoop Dogg will be proud of me. You're like, holy shit, motherfucker. It's like, I don't smoke that much. I don't smoke like Snoop Dogg. Like, no, because I'm on a budget. I need to start a smoking fund. I need to start a smoke fund. Like deposit here for my medicine habits that actually contributes a lot to the show and helps me a lot. Like especially during the show. Oh man, you think I could go a show without smoking like this and be the way I am right now? No way. It takes. I wouldn't like. If I don't have the medicine, I'm not coming on the show. It just feels weird. Like I don't know. I just always smoke on my show. It's very rare, and I've done it before that I didn't smoke on the show, but that was very rare times. Holy shit, that must have been like in the beginning. I think my very first show I wasn't smoking. My very first show I did was with Anna Navarro. That I did a show that was like my breakout with her, and then I just did a lot of shows from there. And that was my coming up. I was like my breakout party right there, and You know, and so start documenting my shit and just putting it on YouTube, only on YouTube. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I don't like YouTube that much because Google owns it. And oh shit, that fucking G word. My phone's, you know, because when you say the H, the hey, and then the G word, these phones go crazy. They go crazy. They have like they're so excited. They turn on and they want to activate and they want to do all this. I don't get it. Why these phones are listening to us? Why is technology listening to us? Paul, do you know anything about this fucking listening shit? Because I blame it on you because you zapped this shit down here, didn't you? Motherfucker, I don't trust you. Not that much. I trust you a little bit to allow you to come and smoke, but that's it. That's as far as we go. I am not taking that shit too far. You crazy? That motherfucker can't be trusted neither. Motherfucker's been passing messages to the United States and building shit and crazy shit. Yeah. I don't know. I never trusted the internet. Like anything you say can be used against you, right? And the internet, anything connected to the internet can be manipulated. Remember that. Anything and everything that's connected to the internet can be manipulated. And that's also like talking about votes and these systems that are connected to the internet that they pass the numbers over to like a main place to gather all the numbers from all the counties and all that shit. That's connected to the internet and numbers can be manipulated in transit. So like there needs to be a paper trail. This has to go old school. You would have no problems with elections if it was old school. You know, I remember the Bush when Bush and Gore with the Chad in Florida. I was living in Florida at the time. Those motherfuckers were dropping like ballots off of trucks into the highway. Oh my god, that was crazy. His brother wanted to give his brother the White House. That's what it was. Because Jeb was our fucking governor at the time. So his brother assisted his brother to become president. Which in reality was a good thing. Because I wouldn't want to live under Gore as president. Oh my god. Can you imagine how the world would be right now? With his fucking thinking. Would just save the planet, save the planet. The planet's gonna save itself past your time, mister. You don't think this planet had been here way before you? What difference are you gonna make if you use up all that oxygen talking nonsense? Like, for real. His agenda didn't make no sense. The Earth is gonna be here no matter what, if we're here or not. We are like we're less than ticks on this planet. Less than a tick on this planet. We're kind of like nothing on this planet. Okay? That's how little we are. But we think we're big. We think we're bigger than that. We think we're the shit. No, we're just a little shit. We're a little teeny little nothing little. Like you can't even see us from space. Like even if they get too close to like our cloud layer, like in our atmosphere, like maybe the ionosphere, like even from there you can't even see down. Like unless it's at night, you see the lights, and then you're like, oh, let's take a look what's down there, you know. But in the daytime you can't really see shit. And like they'll get detected if they do come into the atmosphere like that. And you know, we have satellites and radars and all that shit that can pick up. Um it's just they're always trying to push that fear, you know, aliens here, they're here. Of course they're here. Hello, I'm one. You're one too. The three that are watching, you are the three amigos aliens. Fucking Paul. That was a good one, right? Hell yeah, Paul. I know it was good. Oh my goodness. We are the aliens. They know we're humans. No shit. We're still fucking aliens. No matter what. You know? Go to another country as an American, try to claim where you're at. They're gonna be like, no, you're a fucking alien. You don't belong here. And they're gonna kick you out and send you back home. You know, it's just like this world doesn't even care that you're human. They see you as an alien. They see everybody as aliens. And the United States has been invaded by aliens. Illegal aliens. Paul, you hear this shit, man? I'm making sense tonight. You like that shit? I know, man. It's the fucking weed is fucking good tonight, man. It's fucking good. It's good. It's like damn Rick is we need to support Rick's smoking fund. That shit he's lit. Let's fucking talking some sense here. Um a lot of things that humanity has done and the improvements of like from my timeline of my life and how I seen like the change. It's a big swing, man. It's from the 80s like on like it's a big difference. Big difference. And the fact that like we're at where we at today and we're so lucky to have Trump as president because he gives me vibes of like JFK slash like Reagan slash like a little bit of like Abraham Lincoln and slash of George Washington. And you know, he has a piece of like of everybody. Um but the good side, you know. Fucking Trump, man. Because he was a Democrat. Don't get it twisted. He's always been a Democrat. You know, he just switched teams because they didn't want him. They didn't want him to put him in the top of the ticket. They wanted to put Hillary Clinton, and that's why he left the Democratic Party. He ran as a Republican, and he ran against Hillary, and he beat her. Rosie O'Donnell wants a fucking recount of the 2024 elections. Are you stupid? Stupid. Yeah. Stupid. The stupid idiot. Rosie is deteriorating before our eyes. She's gone so down the hill that she's lost. She's just lost. She's lost. She doesn't know where she's at. She don't know what she's doing. She's confused. Poor thing. She fell so hard, man. After the Flintstones, she fucking tried to blame Trump for her gaining weight and becoming an alcoholic. She tried to blame Trump. I thought I saw a story on that. Let me see. Who had that story? Let me see if I can find it. It's like, Bruce not done yet. Oh, damn. I thought I just saw it. I think it was Benny Johnson. That's the story. Let me see. Okay, we got to see two things actually. Something just popped up that I wanted to see what together. Let me see it. I'm trying to find it. You know what? Maybe it's in my history. It isn't going to be in my history. Let me see if I have it in my history. But I saw something else pop up. No, it won't be in my history because I haven't watched it yet. Like, I'm doing my Guyver work here. Oh, another story. Holy shit. Jason A. Another story from Jason A. Damn, I already picked the two. Is Tyson gonna come out with his so I can make it a trifecta? Like, let me find. I could have sworn it was Benny Johnson. It is. Yeah, we gotta watch this. We gotta watch it. I'm sorry, Benny. I'm stealing your show. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. I love your channel. I love your videos. I love Trump. So I have to watch. I have to. It's and I want to share with my audience too. I'm sure I subscribe to you. Um, and Benny. I mean, Mr. Trump, Benny, Mr. Benny Trump. I'm just setting up the shows right now. I'm setting them up. So give me a sec as I put this. We got 3 to watch. Okay, we got 3. And let's start with the Rosie O'Donnell with the Benny Johnson. Okay, let me come over here. Let's go ahead and share that there. Actually, let's make it big. Gotta make it big, Rick. Here we go. Let's watch together. Look at Rosie.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. If you remember that President Trump launched his political career to become the most powerful man standing on earth today by standing on a humble Fox News debate stage and calling Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig.
Called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
I've seen the clip.
She knows that was funny.
I've seen the clip 100,000 times. I still laugh every single time. I was actually there in person that night. This was inside of the Cleveland Cavaliers arena in downtown Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm telling you that the NBA team winning a national championship inside of that arena didn't elicit louder cheers and roars from the 30,000 people present than Donald Trump roasting Rosie O'Donnell. There's something that Donald Trump truly understands about celebrity culture, which is that, well, the American people don't really like celebrities that much. We, in fact, think that they are about as hideous as they are when they're up close without all the makeup, all the fancy lighting, and all the Hollywood magic. I mean, look at this. This is an advertisement against Trump derangement. They should really run this.
But put DTA in the middle.
And telling people, like, what the
That
hell
could be a
happens
t-shirt.
to you if you decide
Tyson, we should get this
to live
picture
life
and
as a
put
bitter
like
and unhappy
DTA.
left-winger. Look at this. I mean, goodness gracious. The point is that Donald Trump's been calling this out for a very long time, and we've known they were ugly people. We knew that they were hideous on the inside and on the outside. It just Trump's had the guts to say it. He's been talking about Rosie for a long time. One of my favorites is Donald Trump explaining that he's going to send his friends over to steal Rosie O'Donnell's girlfriend.
Probably paying a big price. If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired. We're all a little chubby, but Rosie's just worse than most of us. But it's not the chubbiness. Rosie is a very unattractive person, both inside and out. Rosie's a person that's very lucky to have her girlfriend. And she better be careful or I'll send one of my friends over to pick up her girlfriend. Why would she stay with Rosie if she had another choice?
Damn.
Damn. Okay. What I'm saying here is that it ended up having an effect, a profound effect on Rosie. And she's now relegated to doing this style of podcast, which I don't really understand what this is. I'm not like cropping it to make it look bad. This is what was broadcast on Chris Cuomo's little podcast.
That close.
Where Rosie decides on this angle.
That looks like
Cuomo's
this.
producers decide on this angle for Rosie O'Donnell
This is
during
not
this
angle.
during this
Up
interview.
close and not even
So
next
like
to-
before we even get to what Rosie says, which is
No.
that she became a drunk and overweight because of Donald Trump, blaming President Trump for all of her problems.
Blame Trump
I wanna,
for
like,
everything.
Just quickly zoom in here and say, what the hell? is
Blame
going
Trump
on?
for that face.
She has open sores all over her face.
How the hell
Her
does
like
she do that?
frown lines are now dripping past the equator here through her jawline into the
Damn.
center of the earth. Something's gone horribly wrong with Rosie, who again has to do these
Damn.
interviews from Ireland because she fled America. Something that I respect, by the way, and I will not criticize her for, because at least she followed through on her threats to leave America. And you know what? I respect that. Ladies and gentlemen, Rosie O'Donnell saying that Donald Trump made her drunk and overweight.
First go round, it was very difficult, and I got myself into some bad places. You know, I was very, very depressed. I was overeating. I was over drinking. I was, you know, I was so depressed, Chris. I can't, you know, it hurt my heart that America believed the lies about him. And then it broke my heart to be in a business that creates and sells those lies for profit. You know, it was very heavy, to tell you the truth.
What lies about Donald Trump exactly? Donald Trump is the single most vetted politician in history. The good, bad, and the ugly is all out in the open. The only lies that have been told about Donald Trump have been from the left to hurt him, not to promote him. Lies told by you. I mean,
The only reason why she hates him is because he became a Republican.
Now she has,
And then
admitted
she
to
lost
having
respect for
herpes.
him.
Little head was a cold sore too. And so I talked to my doctor today and I did a video telehealth, and they said that
As a corso. Cold sore.
it's not a cold sore, it's some reaction to the sun. Now I did sit in the
Reaction to the
sun, yesterday, but I
sun?
had sunscreen on. So I don't know. I will let you know tomorrow if I do in fact have herpes.
Oh,
Ew,
okay.
herpes.
This is like a very important thing. Like how or why did Ireland allow her to move in when she's contagious? Don't
She
you
has
have rules?
herpes?
If you have open herpes and open sores, shouldn't they?
Wait a
ban that?
minute.
Either
How
way,
the
I respect
hell?
that she left, and I'm glad that she left. You know, good on you.
Ew.
You make our country
How
a
did
better
she get
place.
herpes?
And,
Oh, she's
I'm sorry
been
for
rug.
Ireland, but
She's
what
been
the hell
going
do I
after
care,
the
right?
rug munching.
Whoa, how do
She's
you
a rug
know
muncher.
that Rosie O'Donnell? This looks like Keith Olbermann to me. I've never seen
She's
them
been,
together in
she's
the same
been
room.
getting too much of
Is it
that
Keith Olbermann?
over a big
Who does she blame for the
loaf.
Gross.
There's a lot of yeast down there.
I wish the left would stop projecting their mental illnesses onto everyone else. I would say it's getting
Goodness,
old.
that's
but we're way
crazy.
past it at this point. Rosie is living proof that mental illness is a serious disease, and she has never been skinny or sober. Actually, she's lost a lot of weight. She like is on weight loss
Mm.
drugs, right?
That's
Here in
crazy.
Ireland.
Rosie's
I
crazy,
don't know
man.
if she's the person who Donald Trump was talking about here.
And he takes the fat shot drug. And he called me up and he said, President, he calls me, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President. So that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy, very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. Said, President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300.
Okay. I mean, is he talking about Rosie? I'm not sure. I mean, she's very close to London.
Right, talking about.
And this is apparently what Rosie O'Donnell looks like now. Goodness
Ozempic. And
keep your kids away from TDS.
I'm on
like you would a
Ozempic
drug. TDS at its finest.
because of my
Compare Rosie
diabetes.
O'Donnell to Roseanne. Of the two, Roseanne is funnier, healthier, saner, more
Well, but
popular.
that I'll do a show
Old
about
Rosie.
that
What a hag.
in the future. In the
This
near
guy's
future.
Trip. Always the victim. Why does she always have the gross sores on her face and lips? This is what people can't
To my boy
figure out.
Tyson, he did a show about it.
Fat shot. A friend of
But
mine is a businessman.
he didn't know that
Really
I was on
businessman. Seriously
Ozempic.
overweight. He took a fat shot.
And they
Don't
call
worry,
it.
ladies and gentlemen.
It's
Rosie
not.
O'Donnell's
It's not
gonna
a
get back at
fat
Trump.
shot. It's actually. It's for my
She's getting
diabetes.
back at Trump. Here's how. Rosie O'Donnell promotes recount of Trump's victory over Kamala Harris. We the people. Vote
Trump
for
wants
a
a
recount.
She wants a recount. Rosie O'Donnell wants a
time to
recount between
protest
Trump and Kamala.
Protest. And protest. Rosie O'Donnell took to social media on Monday to promote a recount of President Trump's landslide victory over Kamala Harris.
She wants
I
a
mean,
recount on
go
a
for it.
landslide victory.
Sure. They claim that Tesla CEO Elon Musk hacked and stole the election. We demand a
Now
recount.
they're blaming Elon that he
It's
hacked
gonna be
the
really
and stole
embarrassing,
the
but
election.
sure.
That's so funny.
Moving to Ireland hasn't helped Rosie O'Donnell TDS.
Like,
She's
that's
now
crazy.
demanding that President Trump be impeached. Again, what
I feel bad
isn't
for
the move to
Ireland.
Ireland. Like the move to Ireland is supposed to
She's closer to Paul from
you're supposed to
Newcastle.
not have to worry about American politics anymore. So why do you
Paul,
keep doing
be
it? Why do you
Paul.
keep inserting
I know
it?
Paul went to
You know,
sleep
every
'cause
every
Paul
time
lives on
you
that side of the
open up social
world.
media, Rosie O'Donnell's like
So
inserting
he's
herself
already
again into some type
he's
of
past his
dialogue about
bedtime,
American
way
politics.
past his bedtime.
Why? If you want to just get away,
Thank
just
you,
get the
Paul
hell
from
away.
Newcastle,
Like,
for
shut up.
coming through. I appreciate you, man.
You know,
But look at this! Look at this picture. Oh my
trying to
god,
compliment Ellen
that's
here, but like
creepy.
she moved away and you like haven't heard anything
Oh my
from her. She
goodness.
just shut up and just went off into the sunset.
Look at Kathy
Rosie's like
Griffin.
constantly on social media, like
Ooh, look
complaining
at
and
Rosie.
griping.
Rosie looks like
From
a
all the way in
bulldog.
Ireland. Like
she looks like
you
one of those
lost.
like dogs.
You
And look
lost.
at Ellen.
Give it up.
Ellen looks like
And now
a
it's sad.
cartoon character
And now
from
she's-
like the 30s.
They just can't let go, can they?
Kamala.
Ladies and gentlemen, and Ireland doesn't want her.
Vote for
One of
recount.
my favorite videos.
Donald has
Get a
just moved to
recount. Are you
Ireland. How do
kidding
you
me?
feel about her coming to Ireland?
Probably about as happy as I am with the thought of the Clintons coming to visit there last year. Yeah, I'm not best pleased, but us Irish are always welcoming no matter what, I suppose. So, yeah.
Do you consider Rosie O'Donnell an illegal immigrant coming into your country?
Absolutely, yes.
God bless the Irish. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, stay the hell away from
God bless
Rosie
the
O'Donnell,
Irish.
whatever you do.
Yeah, at least she has a place
and
to,
you know,
to
like
stay,
pray
you
that she
know?
gets the help that she needs. Okay.
She's in Ireland. You
just
can get her
read
help
this
over there.
comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe.
And cure that herpes if
Well,
she
that-
has it. That's a little sick. That little herpes stuff. That's a little TMI, you know. But it's just crazy. It's just crazy times. Let's listen to hear the Iranian leader. I wanted to watch this with you guys also.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. In the meantime here, more news out of the Middle East. Fox News correspondent Mike Tobin in Israel with the latest on how the ceasefire is holding. Let's watch.
The streets of Tehran are coming back to life as a fragile ceasefire between Israel, Iran, and the U.S. holds for a third straight day. But in his first appearance since the airstrikes on his country's nuclear facilities, Iran's supreme leader sounded defiant, declaring victory over the U.S. and Israel, and threatening more attacks on American bases if the ceasefire is broken.
For anyone to expect Iran to surrender to another country, this is one of those absurd and false claims that will surely be mocked.
But the diplomatic process is already underway. British and European officials met with negotiators from Iran on Thursday, saying talks went well and both sides are remaining cautiously optimistic.
There is a window of within 2 weeks where we can see a diplomatic solution.
Meanwhile, UN inspectors say they want to get back into Iran as soon as possible to assess the damage and make sure the Iranians aren't taking advantage of the chaos to fast-track a bomb.
The agency's presence in Iran isn't some kind of generous gesture. It's an international responsibility.
And on Capitol Hill, senators received their first briefing on the airstrikes, but most Democrats say they're still not getting enough information from the White House.
The failure to provide the details about how effective this strike was not only disserves the military men and women who did it, but also the American people.
President Trump says diplomats from the U.S. and Iran will talk sometime next week, but it's not clear where or when. In Tel Aviv, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
Mike, thanks so much. Let's bring into the conversation right now our friend there at the Atlantic Council, Jonathan Penikoff. He joins me. Jonathan, thanks so much for being with us here. You were listening there in Mike Tobin's reports. He speaks. We heard from the Ayatollah earlier today. I just want to preface his statement with a pretty big piece in the New York Times last night. Kind of the theory of that piece was this, is that his public silence had led to a flurry of speculation and doubt, they write, that how involved has Khamenei been in the most recent decisions, given the many potential difficulties or delays in reaching him. Another question, is he still supervising the country on a daily basis? Is he injured, sick, or even alive? Were most of those questions disabused of today with this statement from the Supreme Leader?
Good evening, and thanks for having me again, Andrew. Great to see you. Look, I think the answer is partially yes, in that clearly, look, he made a statement. He made a rather defiant statement, which should surprise nobody. But at the same time, there's been rumors that the Supreme Leader has been sick for some time. Whether true or not, I don't know, but that has been the rumor. We know that he put in place, thinking that he really could be killed in the last few days or 2 weeks from Israeli strikes, at least 3 possible successors who he named as possible replacements. And we know that the reality is this is a man who's 86 years old, who's been in the bunker the last number of days. And so, look, I think it's a huge mistake to say how long any leader has left, especially in the Middle East. They tend to go on for quite a while. Yeah. But eventually there's going to be a transition. And if the transition happens now, it's certainly going to add to the challenges and the chaos. If it happens in the future at a time that's more stable, then yeah, it could be a more stable transition. But there's still a lot of questions we don't know about leadership in Iran.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan, and I have to note that we just saw this piece of video here from the statement itself, and not many people know where that was taken or shot. I mean, that's the kind of question is, okay, we heard from him. We don't know where this was or when this was, to be honest here. He also is quite prolific today on social media, saying this, that the fact that the Islamic Republic has access to key U.S. centers in the region and can take action whenever it deems necessary is a significant matter. Such an action can be repeated in the future, too. He says, should any aggression occur, the enemy will definitely pay a heavy price. Not necessarily something you would imagine someone saying who had just been in a 12-day war with Israel, just suffered these strikes from the United States, taking out their nuclear facilities. Why is he so bullish? Does he have to be? Is that the way Iran works?
Important to remember that a lot of this messaging is actually not for the West. A lot of this messaging is for the Iranian public and for their own domestic consumption. In a couple of days before the war, there was an Iranian state media program that literally said 200 Israelis have been killed overnight. There were about 300 injuries and another couple hundred missing. None of that was true. I mean, literally, we know that actually had been one of the missile strikes right before the end when nobody was killed in that. And yet, that's what I think the Iranian regime wants people to believe. It's how, in part, they keep their strength by demonstrating huge defiance, standing up to the West, that the revolution fundamentally is alive. It's a really critical part of the narrative. And I think this plays into it in the same ways. And seeing the Supreme Leader make those comments, and then whoever typed them for him on Twitter or on X, the same thing, right? It's part of a broader narrative, but it's important to remember it's really aimed for the domestic audience, if not as much, if not more, than for the West.
Okay, so this is somewhat of a twisted, convoluted question. I just thought of it talking to you. Does the fact that Democrats in the Senate are in disagreement with Republicans and intelligence officials there on the Hill, they were briefed today on this mission, Operation Midnight Hammer, about whether or not the strikes were indeed entirely and wholly successful. We've heard the word obliterated used a lot. Does that play into the Ayatollah's narrative? If people in the United States on Capitol Hill, in the intelligence agencies, in the Trump White House, if they're disagreeing about the efficacy of the bunker buster bombs, is that a propaganda win for him?
It can be. The Iranian media pays very close attention to what is happening in the U.S. Now, they often get it wrong. We saw them make a miscalculation, for instance, related to protests on college campuses, related to Gaza, and how impactful that actually was going to be before, for instance, the election. There was a view received out of Tehran that, of course, this generation is sweeping up and President Trump has no chance of winning, and that obviously turned out to be false. I think the reality is foreign policy and U.S. national security, a lot of us believe it's just too partisan by everybody, that it's a mistake for it to be partisan. And I think what you've seen out of the Senate on both the Democratic and Republican side is actually more a reflection of the fact that there's a lot of questions we still don't have answers to. And that's going to take, frankly, another couple of weeks or months.
Okay.
I think the words and use of the terms obliterate or destroyed are challenging because I think a lot of people, especially over the last 20 years from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, are used to seeing big
Paul's still
craters
here. Hey,
when
Paul.
we talk about destroyed. That was probably never going to be the case
Oh,
in
no,
Iran
Paul's
when it
still
comes to the
here.
nuclear program. It's actually more about whether the impact of the bombs broke, for instance, very fragile centrifuges and the machines that run them. And that we just don't quite know
like
yet.
a
Okay,
clock.
but, you know, Republicans do in the Senate seem satisfied with the intelligence about the success of the strikes.
Rosie with her
Why don't
herpes.
Democrats,
That's
what more
crazy.
do Democrats need to see? You heard that soundbite there in Mike Tobin's report from Richard
Be
Blumenthal, Connecticut. He says we need to see more. Well, what do they need to see? What is it?
Well, I don't think, to be honest, Democrats are completely wrong here, and I think Republicans, I think Republicans inevitably are supporting the president and defending the president. That shouldn't be a surprise. I think Democrats don't quite have a full sense of how much was destroyed, and I think it's true. We don't actually know that. Despite, for instance, Secretary Hegseth and Chairman Kane's briefing this morning, there are still a lot of questions, and it's not because of an intelligence failure. It's just because it's still too early. Over the coming weeks and months, there will be more intelligence. Right now, my sense is there's a reason that DIA report was low confidence, and it wasn't because there's a mistake being made. It's just because it's too early. A lot of the information is still being collected, still being analyzed, and I'll be honest, until you get some people on the ground, such as IAEA inspectors, it's actually quite difficult to tell whether or not some of the centrifuges are still going to work, or whether or not they really have been completely made obsolete.
Wow, that's pretty interesting over there. So let's come over and watch this one. This one, another one from Jason A. He just put out. I just want to check this out.
China has made a major breakthrough in deep earth exploration with the drilling of a super deep well.
Hey,
in the
Chloe,
Xinjiang
how you
Uyghur
doing?
Autonomous region. It reached 10,000.
Yeah, Paul was going to sleep. He said bye to everybody, but he came back.
In Asia, and the second deepest in the world.
I think
In addition
Rosie
to exploring
O'Donnell's
for oil and
herpes
gas resources,
woke him
the
back
well
up.
is also designed to advance the study
That
of the
face
Earth's
will wake
evolution
anybody
and
up
deep
from their
Earth
sleep.
geology. Drilling began on 30th May 2023. It took more than 580 days to complete the drilling, with more than half of the time, around 300 days, spent on the final 910 meters. The well has penetrated 12 geological formations, eventually reaching rock layers that date back over 500 million years.
Yeah,
Beijing
that's that
is digging a
girl.
hole. It's not just any other hole.
That's-
It will be
she's
over
in that Democratic Party.
32,800 feet deep into the Earth's
Forgot her
crust.
name.
China calls it
I
a
just
part
thought it
of
was a
its
crazy
exploration
picture.
efforts.
I took a
The
screenshot.
drilling
and it came
began
out
in the
like that.
Xinjiang
And I was
region
like,
on
oh, he's
Tuesday.
as a
But what is
thumbnail.
Beijing planning to find? Our next report tells you all about it.
Drill, baby, drill. That's what you need to do, China. Same like the
China
US.
is drilling into the Earth's crust, digging a 32,808 feet hole. Once done, it'll be the country's deepest ever borehole.
Congratulations.
The drilling is happening in the Tarim Basin, located in China's oil-rich Xinjiang region.
That's good. They're looking for oil?
But why is Beijing digging such a deep hole?
I
The
don't know.
answer is scientific exploration.
On the outskirts of China's largest desert, the Taklamakan, a drill weighing 2,000 tons is boring a hole into the earth. The shaft will extend 11,000 meters beneath the surface, among the deepest in the world. China's state-owned oil producer is behind the ambitious project.
This year, we've drilled 37 super deep shafts, and 14 of them have a depth of more than 8,000 meters. The average depth in this area is near 7,100 meters, the deepest among all of China's oil fields.
Good.
Super deep drilling has become the main way for us to increase production.
A clean home is a happy
The
home.
company says Project Deep Earth is expected to be completed in just 457 days. Scientists say the borehole will reach the Cambrian strata of the Earth's crust, which dates back more than 500 million years.
This will open up new research areas and provide it with valuable information about
They're
evolution
trying to reach
of the
the core.
Earth.
China is looking for energy resources. It's the world's second largest consumer of oil and gas. And the
So
discovery
they're
of new
looking for
oil fields
energy
will
used
reduce dependence on foreign
going
suppliers. Currently, it imports
for
more than
energy use.
70% of
That
its
sounds
oil,
weird.
much of it from Saudi Arabia and sanction-hit Russia.
The problem is its consumption is huge. It's 15 million barrels a day, roughly, of what they're consuming, which is, almost, we're talking about 15% of the global total there. So, that's quite a big delta there in the amount of crude they need to bring in versus what they produce.
This story is about China drilling
Yeah, they
another
made a
massive
drill.
hole into the crust of the earth. They started last month.
I mean,
The first one they started
the
last
US
month. China
does
began
it,
drilling
so
a 10,000-meter hole
China's
in
just
the
late,
Xinjiang
always
region.
late to the game.
They said it was for scientific exploration. Now, this is the second hole that they're planning, and this one, they say, is for commercial reasons, to find some oil and natural gas deep within the Earth's crust.
Humans have always been a curious species.
Keep
We
drilling
mapped
like a
out the
mosquito
Earth's
on the
surface
planet
centuries
until the
ago.
planet comes and
Since
slaps
the
you across the face
1960s, we've been
with
finding
an
our way
earthquake
through space.
and destroy
But
everything.
there's one
Right now,
region
through
we've
there.
been slow to explore, the one beneath our feet. Humans have barely scratched the surface of the Earth's crust, but China wants to change that. It has begun drilling a second 10,000-meter hole. It already started digging one such hole in the Xinjiang region in May. Now, this second hole is being dug in the crust beneath Sichuan. A quick geology lesson: the Earth's crust makes up only 1% of the planet. It's like a shell that covers the other layers, the mantle and the core. The crust beneath the Earth's oceans is about 5 to 10 kilometers thick. On land, its thickness ranges from 30 to 50 kilometers. That's barely anything considering the size of the Earth. But despite the crust being such a small layer of the planet, humans haven't been able to investigate too deep. Moscow has been able to go in the furthest. During the Soviet era, they dug the now-defunct Kola Super Deep borehole. It is 12,262 meters deep, a world record. Work on this hole began in 1970, and it took Moscow 20 years to reach that depth of over 12,000 meters. But the appetite to dig deeper seemed to have vanished in the last few decades. After all, it didn't make a lot of commercial sense. The Earth's crust is hard to pierce. It involves a lot of science and specialized equipment, something that can dig up and remove
Very expensive.
kilometers upon kilometers of rock. And it's not just rock down there.
Because
The
there
Earth's
has to
crust
be
has
like
layers of liquid and gas that
diamond
can hamper
cutting,
drilling machines
like
as
drill.
well. Not to mention, the drills need to work in
Diamond tip.
temperatures that can cross 260 degrees Celsius. So you can imagine that the excavators will be expensive. The cost just didn't seem worth it to most countries.
Chloe's asking
But
the
that's
same.
not the case
I was
with
asking
China.
too.
When it
I was
began
like,
digging
oh,
the
I
first
know
hole
it's
in May,
late
the
over
hole in
where you're at.
Xinjiang, China said it was
Like,
for
it's like
scientific
4 in the morning
purposes.
where you're at.
Chinese state media had called it a
Or am I
telescope into
crazy?
the deepest end of the Earth. The project was supposed to look for rocks from the time of the dinosaurs, assist
up
in the
tonight.
prediction of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions.
I
This
appreciate
new
him.
hole in
He
Sichuan
knows.
serves none of those noble purposes. It's operated by PetroChina Southwest Oil, a subsidiary of the China National Petroleum Corporation. We just mentioned how there are fluids within the Earth's crust. liquids and gases that can disrupt drilling. Well, China is hoping that these fluids are actually fossil fuels. In May, a Chinese oil firm reportedly discovered substantial oil and natural gas at a depth of about 8,500 meters. So Beijing knows there's fuel down there. Now it wants to extract the fuel from deep in the Earth's crust. This is part of Chinese President Xi Jinping's plan to become energy self-sufficient.
That's good. They need
So
to
the
be
country
energy
is trying to both
self-sufficient,
transition
like
to green
the
energy
U.S. The U.S. is
and
doing the
find
same.
its own
Trump wants to
sources
do
of
the same
fossil
thing.
fuel.
Drill,
Even if
baby,
Beijing
drill.
has to dig towards the center of the Earth to get them.
Because there's
Once
it's like
China starts extracting fuel from beneath, it becomes immune to oil
it's a
supply
lot of
shocks.
fossil fuel.
Then it
That's
won't
why
be
they call it
dependent
fossil
on
fuel,
fossil
right?
fuel surplus nations like Russia and
But
Saudi
that
Arabia.
diamond tip,
That's a
that
smart
tip
strategy
right
for
there,
national security, but
that's
not
very
great for the
expensive.
world's
Not
climate
cheap.
goals. China is already the world's top emitter of greenhouse gases. The US is second.
309.
Washington just
Damn.
sent its climate envoy, John Kerry, to China to try and restart climate talks. But China said it will move towards green energy at its own pace.
This
Yeah,
borehole
Chloe,
is the
like
second in the
Chloe,
world to
where you're
exceed a
at, like
depth
what,
of
9?
10 kilometers.
You're 9,
The
9,
deepest
10
is the
p.m.
Kola in
It's
Russia.
10
In
here.
comparison, that project
The
took
East
20
Coast.
years to drill beyond 12,000 meters. In 2016, President Xi Jinping listed deep earth exploration as one of the 4 focus areas for scientific research. The other 3 are deep sea, deep space, and what the government refers to as the deep blue, or information technology.
For Chinese leaders, investing in these industries is an important step towards becoming more self-reliant. Tensions with the West, especially the US, have shown that it can be dangerous to depend on other countries for essential materials, forcing it to dig deep.
China wants to study the areas of the planet, ones that lie deep below the Earth's surface.
Good luck.
In 2021, Chinese President
Wait,
Xi Jinping
you want the
talked
world to be
about
like, oh
deep
my
Earth
god, yeah.
exploration,
Like,
pushing for advancement in this field.
do
This
what
expedition
you
is a
want.
step towards that. Not just that, it'll help China
Just don't
unearth
blow up the
rich
planet.
minerals and even energy resources.
You know?
On top of that, it could also help evaluate risks of
It's
disasters,
not much. You can't.
like
They can
earthquakes
try to
or
go
even
deep, but
volcanic
it's
eruptions.
so far deep.
So, how exactly do you drill a hole this deep into the earth? According to
That drill
Chinese
tip.
media, the drill has a design depth of 11,100 meters.
It's a special
That is
drill
over
tip.
36,000 feet. So, it'll drill into the ground, penetrating over 10 continental strata, which is basically layers of rock. What the drilling aims to reach is the Cretaceous system, rocks that date back 145 million years.
Now, how are they going to grab
Now,
the
the
rock
drilling process is not without its own challenges. There's a harsh environment on the
without
ground.
damaging it?
Once you go deeper, the conditions worsen. The further you go down, the higher the temperature gets. Sometimes it even gets too hot to go any further. But this isn't the first time this is being done. In fact, this isn't even the deepest hole that's being dug. That honor lies with Russia's Kola super deep borehole. That one was dug over a period of 20 years. The drilling process began around 1970. It reached a depth of 40,230 feet in 1989. But work on that borehole stopped in 1992. That's because temperatures touched 180 degrees Celsius. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, the project soon shut down 3 years later.
Wow.
Not just that, the United States and Germany too attempted to do the same. The US began Project Mohole in the early 1960s, but it was soon called off due to skyrocketing costs. Germany too attempted to pull off the impossible in 1990.
Yeah, it's
Even that
expensive.
project was soon shut down. So, will China be successful where others have failed? Only
The
time will
maintenance
tell.
is expensive. That's what it is. It's the maintenance. That's where the problem lies. Not a good. I don't know. It's not a good investment for certain people from around the world. And China's trying to go deeper and tap into more areas that humanity has never been, and I don't know how they're gonna retrieve any rock or whatever they're trying to claim that they're trying to retrieve. I don't know, but I'm getting tired. I did 3 hours. So I'm tired. I was supposed to only do 2. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. But I want to say thank you for those who are watching. Truly appreciate it. And for those who are rewatching, thank you for rewatching. And like I said earlier, have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And I'm gonna see tomorrow if I could come on in the morning and just go over through some news and see what's up, chit chat. And I try to make myself available in the morning here, so that way I can catch more people in Europe and the other side of the world. I'm not gonna drill to communicate with you. I just do it through here. I can't believe China's trying to drill and try to drill as deep as possible. Man, it took Russia 20 years to get to the depth that they got to. How long is it gonna take China to get to the depth that they want to get to? Like, is it really worth like all the money that you're gonna pretty much waste and trying to achieve who knows what for some kind of like expedition of what, gas and oil? I don't know. I don't know. I guess they could find a different way of gathering all this craziness. But I want to wish everybody a good night, and thank you for watching, and I'll be back on tomorrow. So with that said, bye for now, and say bye to Paul. Paul's really cool. I gotta make sure I give him a high five. He was a true sportsman this evening. He was a true sport. Um, he knew I was doing Alien, and I was showing him about some Alien stuff, and he had to make an appearance because it was like, oh, it was me, motherfuckers. It was me. I told you I had to come over here and smoke a Rick. It's like they caught me on video, but they didn't know where I was going. It's like, I know. Where's the saucer at? Like, don't worry about it. It's invisible. It's parked in a park. It's invisible. You can't see it. Yeah. Have a good night, everyone. Rick's lit. Lord, I am, but I feel good. It's just my neck still hurts, my back hurts, but I'm feeling good inside with the medicine that's deep in me. But good night, and see you tomorrow. Peace.